Coming to you from the Blue Crew Studios in Temecula, California, it's the Whiskey Throttle Show, bringing you inside the lives and careers of industry leaders and legends pushing forward in action sports. Yamaha has been setting the standard in two-wheel and four-wheel fun for decades. Yamaha is always out front innovating and focused on reliability and performance. Join the Blue Crew today. Get yourself a Yamaha. The Whiskey Throttle Show is presented by motosport.com. There's no need to even leave your home anymore if you need gear, you need parts, you need products, anything around your riding and racing hobbies. Go to motosport.com, order it up online, and it will be quickly and conveniently shipped right to your home without even leaving your driveway. Get over to motosport.com and make your next ride your best ride. Troy Lee Designs is the leader in off-road motocross apparel and style. So whether you're looking for a cool new paint job for your helmet, maybe your name and number on your helmet lettered on, you're looking for new gear, you're looking for mountain bike gear, off-road gear, they've got the brand new Scout line and GP and SE models. Troy Lee Designs has it all. They've been leading this industry for decades, and they're going to continue to do it. Rockform, creators of the world's strongest magnetic phone case. They have mounts for your car, motorcycle, and bicycle, as well as universal mounts to adhere your phone to any surface. They also have screen protectors, power banks, stands, chargers, and more. And don't forget the G-Rock wireless golf speaker. Magnets adhere this powerful speaker to your cart, or any metallic surface for that matter, so you have tunes while you golf, work, or hang out. Rockform, always innovating the phone case market. Rockwell designs all their sunglasses in their U.S. headquarters in Utah. Then they are manufactured in Italy using the strictest craftsmanship standards, ensuring you get the best pair of sunglasses you've ever owned. From men's and women's designs, floatable, alloy frame, and a UV 400 rating, which blocks out 100% of UV rays, Rockwell has everything you need for you and your family. Use our code WT20 for 20% discount at checkout at rockwelltime.com. Welcome to the Whiskey Throttle Show, folks, here in Blue Crew Studio, and I'm excited about today's guest. This is a Whiskey Throttle Show classic. We're going to be walking through this guy's life and career, and it's been a pretty impressive one at that. One of the most successful promoters in the off-road motorcycle space, Eric Peronnard. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Ping. Yeah. Pleasure to be here.
I'm glad to have you. We've talked about this for a long time, and we're both just busy schedules.
Exactly. And
so I was glad we were
both sides of the American world, because I live in Florida and you're in California, so I'm not here too often.
How's freedom taste over there?
Freedom is good. I heard you had COVID here. We don't remember anything in Florida. It's like, what? What happened?
You have reasonably priced gas, and
Yes, anyway, yes. We can be on the phone. We don't have issue with noise.
Jeez. Well, I'm just stoked you made it in, and looking forward to chatting with you. We start with the motosport.com gate drop, guys. Get over to motosport.com for anything you need: gear, motorcycle parts, anything for your garage. You wouldn't believe all the things they have. Side-by-sides, quads, street bikes, dirt bikes, doesn't matter. Go to motorsport.com and get it sent right to your house. Tell me what you're doing right now. Like, what are you even out here this couple of weeks? This is kind of right around the start of the season. And what are you doing out here? What are you involved with? Because you've always got your hands in things and working on stuff. And I'm always excited to hear what you're cooking
It's
on.
Shrinking a little bit. I have to say, since COVID 5 years ago, my business took a really bad turn. The event business was really damaged, and I lost a clear 50% of my business. But it was not at a bad time of my life. I would have been 10 years younger. It could have been really damaging emotionally and financially, but being at the time of my life it was not the end of the world. So coming back to this week I'm here to visit my oldest client, Fox Racing, which I've been helping for 20 years, and they've been helping me for 40, since I've been pretty much wearing Fox since 1980, and I'm here to kind of scout the world of Supercross to make sure we select the best guys to come to Paris next year. And the overall scene, I'm still the producer of Moto X game seeing the freestylers that's so I would say Fox. Paris Supercross, working on X Games, and I still do a couple races with Red Bull. I was a producer for Straight Rhythm.
Yep.
Now I'm doing the TKO, which is the original hard enduro in America. It's 16 years old. So we started that, in 2010,
Yeah. Okay.
So
well, I want to get to each of those events.
Keeps me busy.
I've got a lot of questions about all that. You've been involved in so many things, and I've done a lot of them, actually. So I'm anxious to dive into those and ask you more questions. And what else, like, what are you currently involved in? Because Straight Rhythm's kind of at least shelved for now? Or?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. It's sadly shelves. Red Bull has different level of expectation. I think it was just not, it was good, but not as good as they wanted it to be. So all respect, that's the way it is. We did Imagination for 5 years, which was also fantastic project, quite demanding and quite dangerous for the athletes. But it lasted 5 years. It's one thing I've been learning in my business is nothing lasts forever.
Yeah.
Short of the Paris Supercross so far, but
that may last forever.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna touch on all the things that you're doing. Because there's off-road, but I've got a lot of questions too about different things that I've heard or that are possibilities, and I want to know just how interested you'd be. So we're going to get to it. Hey, guys, get over to WhiskeyThrottleMedia.com. We've got all kinds of content on there, moto, off-road, dual sport, you name it. Our merch line is on there. We're going to have our golf tournament, the Ryder Cup. Again, we'll be back this May, Sunday after Paula here in Temecula. You can get tickets and sign up there. And then the WhiskeyThrottleClub.com. Join us for that. That is going to be a blast. We've got live things every Sunday at Prey Moto is our post-race show. You can call in and talk to us, share your thoughts and opinions. There's content on there like Code Red and Hang Time and Electronic Ping that you cannot get anywhere else. So it's $5 a month. It's real easy. Join the club. And then our guest today is brought to you by Yamaha. Whether it's YZF, YZs, excuse me, TTR, street bikes, side-by-sides, generators, Yamaha has been setting the standard for performance and reliability for a long, long time. We're happy to have them part of the show. So start with Yamaha when you're looking at new bikes. We'll appreciate it, and you will too, because they're great products.
And I've got plenty of stories with Yamaha, because that's my brand too.
That's your brand too?
Yeah.
Okay. Great minds think alike. I love it. Well, start, Eric. Tell me where you grew up, because I as long as I've known you, which is 30 years we were talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know much of your origin story, so I'm excited to hear.
It's pretty simple. Grew up in the French Alps, basically, having skiing and hockey being the two sports you're gonna do, like it or not.
Oh, really? Hockey too?
Yeah. Hockey was pretty big. My dad was a pro hockey player, so I grew up in the hockey environment. I didn't know what there was. I didn't know about soccer when I was a kid. It was only about hockey. But
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was maybe something. You grew up in a cold part of the U.S., so maybe it was the same.
we never got into hockey, but it was snow skiing. I mean, I ski raced. That was the first thing I did.
Yes, same here. So it's
and I still love watching. Michaela Schifrin and Lindsey Vonn right now, and Darren Rolfs is a good friend of mine, and I love it. I just can't get enough of speed skiing, especially the speed events.
Yes,
Super G.
absolutely.
And
so I grew up on skis, and the ski season was much longer at a time than it is now. I was literally skiing 6 months a year. So it was super exciting. I was part of the first wave of freestyle skiing, acrobatic skiing, when it became new. It was coming from US, by the way. It was so my first exposure to US sport was through freestyle, and when I was 15 years old, I could have been just having a life in ski racing, ski industry, but suddenly we were kind of like exposed to the dirt bike craze. It's
how.
It was very big in Europe as well. Like the 70s were big everywhere in the world. It's when dirt bike exploded. I got exposed to first a trial, because trial was like everybody that was skiing in my environment was buying a trials bike for summertime. So we all got to ride trials bike, but quickly turned into motocross. I turned out to be decent rider, and within a year or two, I was not even thinking about skiing. I was just riding all the time, racing and stuff.
Trials was big.
Very big.
I was surprised to hear when we had DeCoster on the show.
Yeah.
He started out doing
Absolutely.
trials. And I was like,
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yes.
But he said, a lot of people would just start with that, and then it would evolve to scrambles or motocross. Or
Yamaha was the pioneer when they brought the TY, which was the first inexpensive good trials bike.
Okay.
And then
look at Yamaha.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Innovated.
Exactly. So leading from that, I decided that I needed to get closer to the industry. So I went to work for a Yamaha dealer in my hometown.
Okay.
So there was
which was what?
Grenoble. Grenoble is kind of like the Denver of France. It's like the city that is surrounded by mountains where you have ski resorts everywhere. Olympic game in '68, and it's a very big ski base.
What ski areas are right there by you? Is Chamonix near there?
Chamonix is an hour and a half. Okay. So it's a little bit more, it's more like Deux Alpes, Alpe d'Huez. Alpe d'Huez, famous for something else, but, it's maybe 20 ski resorts within an hour from our mountain. So we never had any question, it's the snow is better there, so we just went wherever. And
it's different over there too. Sorry to go down a rabbit hole here. We skied St. Anton.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, it's been 7 or 8 years ago. And you could ski. You could go up one lift, and you could go literally ski to other cities.
Exactly.
You're skiing this expanse where you got to kind of be careful, otherwise you're not going to get back to where you're staying by dark.
Absolutely.
And if you went off piste, you could die. Like nothing. It was not marked like it is over here. Like if you went off on your own, it's like okay, good luck, and you could just fall off a cliff.
No, not too many. Very big freedom of skiing and freedom of getting hurt too.
Yes.
Which I will always say, freedom of getting hurt is very big in life.
Yeah. And you would understand après ski. Like we named this post race show après moto. And everyone in my group's like, "What's après?" And I'm like. Come on, man. Après ski, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway. So skiing led me to dirt biking because it was kind of like, if you were on the crazy side on skis, dirt biking was obviously for you. Yeah. So that's how I basically got my foot on the bike, and the next thing I know, I remember buying the first Motovert magazine, which was launched in '74. I was a kid, but it was still the first European dirt bike magazine. I think Motocross Action was already in existence, but I think it was like one of the pioneers. They celebrated 50 years last year. It's crazy. So I bought as a kid, I got my few dollars and bought the first magazine. I'm like, oh my God. And then maybe months later, an article about Roger DeCoster. Mm-hmm. And Roger is basically saying the future of dirt biking is in America. And I'm like, that is, I'm in my little, bedroom as a kid, as a teenager. And I'm like, okay, I got it. I'm going to be there. And
so what year would that have been?
75, 76. Yeah.
So that's so crazy because at that time, the lackeys and, all the guys here were going, man, I got to get to Europe. That's where it is. But you got DeCoster seeing it like, actually the future.
DeCoster was absolutely the visionary. And it basically, and it's, and I got the opportunity to meet Roger and be friends with him very quickly after, but it's like, say, you made me move to US. It was what you said that made me move to US because you were such an influence on my life, So here we go. In '79, I worked a couple of years in a Yamaha motorcycle shop and saved money. And '79, I came here for a few months,
That was the trip where you went and saw Mitch?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you said you were a Husky rider.
Yes, I was a Husky rider. And I came here and I basically jumped into the American moto culture, started at the Trans AMA at Redbud. And then next thing I knew, I was in Unadilla. And I was tagging along with the Honda team because I got to be friends with Malherbe, the late Belgium world champion. And and then going to the Baja, going to first Supercross, Anaheim Supercross, November 1979. It was not in January, and I'm like, holy shit! And I was a kid. It was too big. I said, I'm gonna move back here, but I need to have a bigger spine because it's you've moved.
It's big business.
Yeah,
and
it's like you don't. It's moving out of your country. It's not something you do overnight. It's sometime you do, but I was not capable. So I got back to Europe, and then I'd grown. I was still a teenager, but everybody looked at me differently because I'd been in US and stuff. And somebody of mine offered me to be his partner in a Suzuki dealership. Sorry, Yamaha, but yeah. So yeah, I gathered some little money for my family because nobody was rich or wealthy, and I became the Suzuki dealer was a friend of mine in my hometown, and we killed it. We became like the second or third largest Suzuki dealer in 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
And
by doing what? What was your guys were you just out working people? Were you
just that was the second biggest motocross dealer in France as well. So it's like RMs were big. The full floaters bike were good to me. It was a good bike to ride and a good bike to sell. So sold everything. Made a little bit of money there because it's not like today. You remember it says in that time you make a little bit of money. You don't make million. And then in '84. I decided I'm going to move to US for good. So I went, I did a resume spiral, the spiral holder and stuff. And I went to the Cologne show, in Germany. And I gave it to whoever was American, Jim O'Neill, John Gregory from JT, and I say, hey, next year I'm moving to America. I'm looking for a job. So, it's what I did. I moved the following year in January '85 to US, and I went to see all those people, Jim Gennard as well,
The Oakley owner.
Yeah, the Oakley founder and owner at the time. And, everybody wanted me to go back to Europe. So, we need somebody like you, but we need him in Europe. I said, no. You don't understand. I want to stay here. I don't want to go back to Europe. Jim O'Neill was my savior. Jim O'Neill was awesome and gave me opportunity to work with him. It was a lot of fun. So I was kind of like in sports marketing. So I was taking care of Dubac, Keo, and Harley. Yes.
Harley, maybe Mike Craig, didn't he wear O'Neill for a little bit?
I don't remember Mike Craig being O'Neill when I was there.
Who else was in it?
Yeah.
Mike Fisher, maybe?
Yeah, there was a lot of local pros, around the US. It was a lot of fun. Working with guys like Harley and Keo, it was just, it was
Jim Hawley's a one-man party.
Yes, exactly. They never got bored, on that level. And and things went on. I was still too young, and I was living in a valley, and in my mind, San Diego was where it was. So, I lasted like a year at O'Neill. Then I moved to Thor. That was Torsten Harman at the time, and they hired me and moved there, and it was that didn't work out. Bob Maynard was super cool, but he ended up firing me because I think I was my weekends were a bit too brutal for him.
Okay.
With Ricky and Lachine and all that stuff. It was different level, is what we were saying earlier. Like at that time, everybody was partying. It was like the race was just an excuse. It was like a
very different time.
Yeah, very different time. So, and then I went to work for Mitch. Helped him for a few months, and I met my wife. So that was my lucky star. And at that point, I said, hey, you know what? I was an entrepreneur in France. I should be one in US as well. So we started working on this project that was kind of crazy at the time. It was called adventure travel. And I had good connection with Yamaha because I knew a lot of people around the Yamaha world because of the Jackie Vimond connection and stuff. And I called my friends at Yamaha in Europe, and they say that they just had launched the Tenere bike, which was late 80s. And I say, hey, we're going to organize some travel adventure trips in US with Teneres. And they say, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, okay, let's do it. So next thing we knew, we had about 20 bikes, and we were running tours in the American West on adventure bikes for the
Out of where?
like we were starting from Palm Desert, and we were going to Monument Valley, to Colorado, to Baja, just
All over.
all the place that. But at the time, nobody was doing that, and it was like even crazier. There was no adventure bike in US. The bike I was having were coming from Europe or from Japan, and we didn't even US plates. It was really winging it. I don't think we could do that today.
Yeah.
So that was the first big business we had, Carol and I.
What year was that?
1990. Yeah.
Jeez, okay.
So, but at the same time, my connection with the US world got me to work with Bercy. At the time we call it Bercy. We don't call it Bercy today. I know. But
I miss Bercy. I want to talk about that. Let me back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Your racing career, how far did that get?
Oh, very, very short.
Very short. Okay.
Yeah, it was a hobby racing
Okay.
career. I just wanted to experience racing everywhere in the world. So when I was in Europe, I raced in UK, I raced in Holland, I raced in Germany. I just wanted to be with other people. I'm one of those guys that feels better outside of my bubble than inside my bubble.
Okay.
So I just went and had a lot of fun racing. And, French guy going to race in Holland in the sand, you get spanked like you don't even know.
Yeah.
And I was a good local rider. I was able to win race time to times, but very, very few. I can't remember how many motocross I won. I still on one hand, I can't count it.
And then, so how did you ever go to school for business or
nothing? No, I left school when I got my first job at the Yamaha dealership. It was the day of my birthday. You had to go to school till 18 in France, and I told my parents on the day before my birthday, I said, tomorrow I'm going to work, and they're like, oh. Are you serious? I say, yeah, tomorrow I'm done with school. It was a month before graduation from high school. So I did not even graduate from high school.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You were just done.
Done.
Yeah.
I thought there would be a lot better way to learn things and doing things than school was absolutely not in my...
Listen, I'm a big believer that unless you have something specific you want to do, I want to be a nurse or a doctor or a lawyer, then you've got to go do the schooling.
Correct.
Otherwise, I think life is the best teacher. Go out and do some things.
Yeah, and
fail.
Fail is good.
Yeah,
it's painful. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen many times, but you still learn a lot from your failures.
Yeah. If you haven't failed, you still have a lot to learn. Then.
Yeah, and I think for people, I'm sure you're the same way. It's like it has to be simple. It was. Motto in America, be happy, healthy. Kind of like simple. I was not here to become the next millionaire or the next champ it's like, no, it was like I wanted to be part of it and show that you can do different things and still make it.
Yeah. Okay, so forward ahead now to Bercy. How did you get plugged in? Who started it, and what year did it start? Was that Xavier?
Yeah, no. Yes and no. Bercy was started by Motovert. The magazine, the publishing Motovert that started in 1974. They were kind of the pioneers of all the new stuff. They were the people that, always were talking about American riders, Johnny O on a cover, Bob Hanna, whatever. And my ticket to those guys was, hey, I'm moving to America. I'm not famous at all, but I'm still known in the industry as somebody pretty solid. We're talking early 80s in France. And, I'm the youngest motorcycle dealer in France. Actually operating. And, when I told them I told them I was moving to US. They said, okay, can you be our correspondent? I'm like, sure. I know how to take pictures. I know how to write stories. So for a few years, I was kind of like the guy doing that. You know,
You were Le Big back before there was Le
exactly.
Big.
Yeah, I was Le Big before Le Big. Le Small.
Le Small. Le Petit.
Exactly. So, you know, that was also a way to connect with everybody. I did interview on Troy, Mitch, you know, Ricky Johnson, you know, Jeff Ward. It was really fun. Yeah, that side of the business is fun. And knowing them better, I knew Xavier, as we call him in English.
Yeah, sorry, I butcher that. But.
Yeah. I mean, Xavier was becoming a working colleague, and he basically offered me to be his sidekick, you know, and to be the U.S. antenna in U.S.
Okay.
You know, it was like 1987. You know.
Okay.
So
what was the first Bercy?
1984, and I attended as a guest. You know, I was there like, oh, but you know, I was shocked and surprised. But for a lot of European, it was way more intense because I had seen Anaheim, I had seen all the European Supercross. You know, Amsterdam, Genoa. I mean, there was a multitude of European Supercross in the early 80s. So Bercy was the most stunning because of the production and the fact that it was in that special stadium, but it was not like something I haven't seen. Like a lot of French people, their life starts at Bercy #1 because they'd never seen the Supercross. You know, I mean, I was not that case. I'd seen the real thing.
Mm-hmm. But there was something about that place. And listen, I haven't been to the Paris Supercross yet. My colleague Jeff went this year.
Yes,
Said it was awesome.
Yeah.
The stadium's obviously much bigger.
Yes,
you can have a bigger track and more legit that way. But there was something magical about that place. And
this was the Monte Carlo GP of motocross. Mm-hmm. It didn't make sense, but it was magic.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long the Monaco F1 GP is going to last, you know, hopefully forever. But it's exactly like Bercy. It's like this thing did not make sense, you know. But it was the race you wanted to go, you wanted to be, and it was something special.
I mean, even, you know, just to describe it for people who've never been, the outside of the building was grass.
Correct.
And they would lower lawnmowers down. It was steep. You couldn't even walk up it. And they'd lower mowers down to mow it. But it's like, just even that alone, you'd walk up going, what in the world is this? And when you came inside, it was, I don't know if it's as big as our hockey arenas. Is it?
It's a big hockey arena. It's about the same size as the MGM Grand, which I created about 10 years later.
Yeah.
You know, that was based on that.
Okay.
You know, and so yeah. But
it felt like more seating, or the seats were like very steep, so they were
exactly. That's a vertical seating where you actually look in the hall instead of looking at a flat platform. Was the difference?
Yeah.
You know, and the crazy fans, and you know, I mean, there's something, you know, there's something for the fan that sees something once a year. You know, it's not the same. Yeah.
Well, I raced there in '95 and was lucky enough to win the 3 nights. And Mitch and I still giggle about this all the time because he in fact, just a couple weeks ago, I was up there and he goes, you know, if you would have just won that third night in Bercy, the last moto, I won 5 out of 6 motos. Vimond beat me the last moto, and he gives me a hard time about it.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's Mitch.
He goes, you know, you just thought they were whistling for you because they liked you and you were good finishing second. He goes, you didn't find out till later the whistling meant they didn't like you. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was.
But the show, I remember as a kid watching, I don't remember the year, but like there was some big robot hand that brought down, was it RJ or?
Yeah, RJ, yeah.
And just the pageantry of it and the way you guys would introduce the riders, man, it was like, they still don't even match that here.
No, absolutely. It's, I mean, it's been, you know, the size of the stadium and the lengths and the fact that the riders are not necessarily okay to be hanging from a rope from the ceiling and stuff like that. It's just the fact that we have to be a little bit milder. We used a lot of videos and create stuff around them. And but like I think the hand with Ricky inside the metal hand was definitely the
coolest.
best, the coolest thing of all time, you know.
Yeah, it was just neat. You guys, it was an incredible, magical thing. And if you didn't get to experience, it's a shame.
And it was, you know, a group of people, which I was fortunate to be part of, that it's that older generation, not to say it's not good today, but I mean, things were simpler. You know, we didn't have to worry too much about everything, you know.
Yeah, there's so much litigation now.
Yeah.
You're right. You
Yeah.
probably couldn't even do that.
Yeah, and there's so much, you know, sensibility on, you know, sponsors and things you do. Like, I'm the grown up, and very often I say, guys, we can't do that. We can't let a Yamaha rider ride on a Honda for the intro. It's like, and we would have done that without thinking about it, you know, 30 years ago. And today I say, no, you can't do that. It's like, I don't care how good the bike is paid by another employer. So we have to be cooling it down, you know.
Yeah, it's just crazy how different it was. Was there how many years then were you involved? I mean, since then, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was at the first one. I was the first one in '84 as a, you know, as a fan, part of the industry, and then I moved to US, and I missed '85, which is a very fun story. '85, I'm friend with Brock Glover, and he was going to Paris to do the '85 Paris, and he said, hey, my girlfriend Pam, she wants to go to a party, but can you go with her and stuff like that? So I went to a party. I met my wife. So that's missing that '85, you know, Supercross pretty much put me on a very good track,
wow.
You know. And in '86 we had started our life together. You know, it was just too much to do. But by '87 I was in. You know, it was like
and working with
with
Xavier.
Team. Yeah, with Xavier is a race director from day one, so it's kind of a unique situation. You know, it's not many event or places I've seen a guy being, you know, the entire time. You know,
right.
I mean, that's like we can't even think of anything like, I mean, short of Mitch and Pro Circuit and Troy Lee, everything else has been, you know, ended.
Changed. Yeah. Is he still involved with the Paris?
Yeah, absolutely. He's like me now. He's no longer an employee. We both consultant producers, and we have a lot of fun working together. You know? I'm sure he'll call me. He calls me in the middle of, you know, the race and say, "Hey, did you see that?" or something. He hasn't been in US for like 15 years. You know. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was there a Bercy that stands out for you, where you just go, "Man, that was the peak"?
Yeah, I would say, you know, all the '90s, because of the amount of partying there was, and the fact that, you know, our generation, even though we are 10 years apart, you know, it's like we did that together, you know. I mean, and you know, all the Jeremy McGrath years. I mean, we had so much fun.
Yeah.
It was like 3 days of racing, but the last day was more important. That what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah.
Where are we going tonight? Who's coming? And it's like we had VIPs, we had stars joining us. It was something really unique.
Yeah.
And you know, I would say, very bluntly, any year is a great year when nobody gets hurt. You know, because, you know, that's really the sad side of our sport. It's dangerous.
Yeah.
And, you know, every time we had the ability to have, you know, 3 days or 2 days of racing and everybody was walking away, I would say this is a winner. You know, we have, you know, it was last weekend in Anaheim. It was difficult to sleep after, you know,
I know.
Yes.
Thank God those guys are okay. That was ugly to watch.
I was fortunately able to connect with the right people to know, you know, live what was going on. But God, that was scary, and it reminds us that it's what we love.
Yeah,
you know?
this sport's the best thing and the worst thing at times.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, exactly.
There was a place. I think this was maybe '97. I can't remember the year. But I had kind of hurt my shoulder in the tunnel, I want to say, and so I wasn't even racing the last 2 nights. And we went out. I'm gonna mess. Who's the riders? They were French guys. Bolle, and who's the guy with Yves Demaria?
Yves Demaria, yes. Tifley, a nickname.
Yeah. So we went out to some club called like the Loco. It's like
the Locomotive. Yes, that's it. That's good memory.
Yeah. Well, it's stuck in my brain,
yeah.
and I didn't drink at the time, so I'm the sober guy, right?
Yeah.
And I'm watching Bolle. I'm McGrath, all these guys, just partying. You know, race was over, and it was just like it was a trip to me.
And it was
I think Bolle was maybe smoking cigarettes.
Oh yeah, well, that was pretty common too. We all smoked after the race.
It was blowing my mind as a kid, you know. But
it was
so fun.
Yeah,
and like you said, the European guys that came and the American guys, it was like everybody just we were stoked to hang out with each other because that was really the only time all year we got to see.
Yeah, and it's there was no much of a party culture in US in racing. I mean, you know, we had that in the 80s with Ricky and Lushine. That was gnarly. I'm telling you. I mean, like when my couple years, you know, of being in US single with those guys, I mean, it was pretty gnarly.
Took some years off your life.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I remember some you know, Halloween party at Ricky Johnson. That's I'm sure he wants to forget it too.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure Steph doesn't want to hear those stories.
That was before Steph.
Yeah. And then it kind of came back in the 90s here. Looked different.
Yeah.
And then I feel like that's kind of the end of it. Once phones came out, everything has just gotten very sterile.
You know, then my wife and I, we created the U.S. Open, and the U.S. Open for a couple of years was the same mentality.
Yep.
You know, everybody was going there, and the next day.
And that was 99?
98.
98. Okay.
And it's really the end of the century when you think about it. And that was still Party Time USA. You know, I mean, U.S. Open. I was having so much fun the few days after the race, hearing everybody calling me, say, "Oh, we went with so and so," and it was really like, you know, it was like, oh my God, a lot of things happened. You know,
that's what that was kind of peak 90s.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
98, 99,
and then that tricky guy showed up. Mm-hmm. You know,
truly, and that changed things a lot because. Yeah. The status quo was, and Jeremy and Fro have said this many times, like, I was okay going to Havasu and hammering down a bunch of beer bongs because my main competitor's right next to me.
Exactly.
He's doing the same thing. So as long as he's getting drunk, then I'm good. You know?
Yeah, funny, but Ricky was, as a kid racer, he was... Oakley paid him a trip to Paris, and I think it was
95. It was the year I won.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. I was thinking and it's when I met Ricky, and it's just like it was. We took him to his first bar, you know, and it was like I remember with Ricky, I said, "Hey, you come with me. We're gonna go to a nightclub." He said, "Nightclub? I'm 15 years old." I said, "France, nobody cares." So, I mean, he didn't do anything stupid, of course, but he was just like I was seeing, you know, young Ricky. I mean, in Locomotive and with us, and it was just some incredible moment, you know. And it's
I'm sure he remembers it. You know, like it was yesterday.
Absolutely.
On a kind of a sadder note, tell me about what happened with Jackie Vimond. I know you guys were friends.
Yes.
You said actually you guys were over here together in '85.
Correct. Yes.
Prepping for the '86 World Championship.
Jackie Vimond was the first, maybe the first French world champion. You know,
he was.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was motocross. You know. I mean, and the fact is, he decided somehow, like me, he said, I need to train in US. It's where it's happening, and you know. We connected. We knew of each other, but we knew each other. We met really at the airport coming to US, and we came here. And next weekend we were at Lake Madeira, you know, running the Golden State at the time, and we did that for a month. Then he went back, and then I stayed in US, and he came back to me to train for, you know, the entire winter in Palm Desert, where I had started my life with my wife, you know. So we spent this. Everything went very well. He became the world champion, and then there was a big party in Paris for his title, and he was supposed to be dropped from the ceiling. You know, I mean, kind of like rappel, you know, and the people didn't hook him properly, so he fell like 50 feet on the stage, you know. So it's a goosebump time, you know. I mean, he was really,
and that was the peak of his career.
Peak of his career. He's just turned a world champion, and he broke a lot of bones. He was lucky to be alive, you know. My wife and I went to see him in his hospital, you know, because he was like for weeks in hospital, and that's how life turns, you know. And he came back, he won races and everything, but it was never the same, And he's been extremely good to the sport because he's a very quiet champion, always, backstage training riders. He was with Yamaha for many years, and now he's with the HRC Honda.
Oh, he's still involved with
Oh,
them?
yeah, still. We'll be together in a couple of weeks at the first international race. So the fact that my Fox job allows me to take care of that, that side of the business. Cool. I've been able to reunite with him, and we've seen each other with a lot of joy.
What was it? What is his world championship year where he wore the pink gear? I just remember that's how I picture him in that pink gear.
JT pink gear. That's it. Yeah. So
what a crazy.
Yeah, same year as Brock was wearing it. I mean, it's like Brock and him. Brock was the
86.
The king here, and Jackie was the king in Europe. So it was different years, but all good. Yeah. It's good to remember. It's good to remember because it's, I'm surprised to see how much our motocross fans are. They really like to know those things, and they have a tendency now is, we kind of live in a very small instant bubble.
Yeah.
But people have to be reminded of all that stuff.
Yeah. Look, I'm a big believer. It's part of why this show exists. That we gotta honor those people whose shoulders we're standing on.
Yeah. Exactly.
And our sport it's not great at that. There's so much information now.
It's getting better. I mean,
there
was a time where, I remember talking with previous champs where they could barely get a pass to get to a race.
Yeah.
Maybe you.
Well, I've always been media, but I've talked to from Albertine to Rick Johnson, guys who you think should just have a gold card.
Exactly.
This is good till you're dead.
I think it's getting better. Yeah, I think it's getting better, and I'm very thankful to Feld to recognize that at some stage because I felt like, it was a shame not to have all the champions be sitting in a gold seat in every stadium. When you see golfing or all the other sports, they talk about guys that won 500 years ago. I'm like, and we cannot talk about our champion from 10 years ago.
We need to be better about showing some respect for those folks. Like you remember Anaheim's in the 90s, early 2000s. They used to always pan up to the Knothole Club, and there'd be somebody up there interviewing the, Adam Carolla, whoever the heck is up there.
Correct.
They ought to have those racers up there.
Yeah.
And they ought to be doing that. Yeah. Going down and going, hey, we got Rick Johnson here. He won here and this year, and we got here's Damon Bradshaw, and here's that's what they should be doing, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely.
Just shining a little light on those guys and thanking them for the work they did.
Yeah.
In growing the sport. Okay, so U.S. Open. You didn't own Bercy.
No, I never did. I'm the I'm the U.S. producer for Bercy.
But you learned the ins and outs and how that whole thing works inside and out, right?
And that led me to basically do,
all the things
Barcelona,
we're going to talk
about. Milano, Torino, Belfast. Races. I can't even remember all the races that got me involved. Because they needed to have the guy that can deliver the riders, take care of them, make sure that everything is gonna work.
So, Geneva Supercross, was that you also?
That's.
So I did in the big circuit back then was like Geneva. You come over to Bercy, you do Geneva.
Correct.
You do Genoa.
Yep. Genoa, of course.
Maybe Bologna, Madrid.
Yes.
Was that all you?
I was always involved. The only one, Madrid was the only race I never got involved.
Okay.
But Bologna, I was involved. Genoa, I was involved.
Maybe I'm missing one. Manchester had one.
Geneva, I was number two. Only the promoter was on top of me. And that's with Stephanie, the girl running it, we're just doing everything. It was amazing race, and that's where COVID killed it. That's the way it is. Yeah.
I was going to ask, is it still around? Because I kind of don't hear about it. Are they all gone?
Yeah. Today, all the races are gone, short of Paris.
Wow. And that's really because of COVID. That was the knife
and COVID was, all the other races were okay, but COVID just killed the okay factor. Like Paris was good, so it's less good, maybe a little bit, financially and stuff, but it's still good. All the other races lost,
Is there, is there still hesitation from people to attend? Is that why?
No. It's just like the cost factor and everything.
Right.
There's,
The cost of everything went up.
Yes, exactly. And like, if you're not grandfathered in a stadium today, and you pay X amount, for doing the stadium, it's becoming extremely difficult for a Supercross. We kind of like, and I'm sure it's the same problem in US. I mean, if you don't have a deal like Feld with a stadium, but if you or me walk into any stadium and say, hey, I want to do Supercross, they're going to ask you a rent. They're going to say, what?
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, it's insane.
Is that liability? Is it cost?
It's just every cost has been multiplied, and the cost of moving dirt, all that. I mean,
you name it.
Yeah, it's just, and the riders, which we love, are not cheaper.
Yeah.
There was no crisis for COVID for the riders. They did very well.
Yeah.
And bless them. That's great. But the fact is, now it's like to get, 5 or 6 good guys, you're talking 7 figures, and that makes it makes it challenging for the promoter.
Yeah, I get it. And, on the one hand, as a rider, which I'm sure you can understand, the risk they're taking, the work they're putting in, it's like they deserve that.
Absolutely.
But also, if the promoter doesn't make some money, then there's no incentive to keep putting on races. So
exactly.
There's a balance there. And I think, at least in the U.S., and I'd love to get your opinion, there's a general consensus that the promoters are just making a load of money, and they're not really sharing with the riders. Now, the SMX playoffs have helped a lot. I think that's gone a long way. But it's like people will still argue that there's a discrepancy there.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, the business model that was created 50 years ago, basically, hasn't been modernized enough. And I think there's a lot of real good progress. Just like you mentioned, the SMX have been really, really good to the riders. But in general, we haven't had enough of profit sharing, between the riders, the teams. The teams, to me, are the biggest victims. I mean, because the teams spend a lot of money. Unfortunately, there's a lot of rich guys sometimes behind the teams that kind of fill the gaps, meaning, sign checks. But the reality is the teams are spending a lot of money for something they love. But, I think that I would love to see more help on, I would love to see like a point system where, based on your riders, if you earn 200 points during the season, you get something back.
Yeah.
And, it's not easy. I mean, there's some numbers that are floating in the industry, in the media. I'm like, you guys don't. There's 1 0 too much on your numbers.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't pretend to know it. I'm trying to look at it from every perspective because I understand the business side, but I also understand the rider side. And to your point, the teams or the privateers, man, they're
a guy like Mitch. He's basically bleeding to get the team running.
Yeah.
Yes, he gets good support from Fox, from Monster and stuff, but I'm doubting he balances budget. At the end of the year, I'm sure he takes some of his own money to make sure the team is functioning.
Look, if a team like JGR can't make it pencil out, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And I think that should have been a little bit of a wake-up call, and maybe that had something to do with what the SMX thing, maybe. Because some of that money actually goes to the team, and the riders negotiate what percentage they get.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs, but I'm just curious what your take is.
It's a very big conversation, and it's a dangerous conversation because you don't want to mislead people.
Right.
So at that point, I'd rather be more cautious about that than the other way around. When COVID happened, JGR and Geico reached out to me and said, hey, we need to get serious here because they were sweating already, and we started to talk about how to organize the team in a better way, and then they didn't sweat. They they exploded in flight. So that was, Geico and JGR were run by people that were real business people. They had a good vision, and they knew they were getting to the end of the rope, and they wanted to address it, and just didn't work. But it was an interesting part of my life where, I'm like, yeah, sure, I would love to help, but we have to help ourselves first.
Yeah, and look, I even the conversation about those other races, I feel like now between Supercross, Motocross, SMX World Finals, the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now the SMX World Championship, or the WSX, rather.
WSX, yes.
There's no time for anything else, and even like
absolutely
Red Bull Straight Rhythm or something else.
Exactly.
Like, where do you put it?
Yeah, exactly. So that's I knew the phone would ring when WSX started, and it rang pretty quickly, and I was just like basically telling them that, say, we can't, they spaced for 3 big races off seasons that make sense, that are good for the riders, good for the promoters. If you want to do more, I'm not interested. And it basically was, my reply to them. So I don't want to be the guy that is gonna create that situation where there's too many races, doesn't make sense. I believe in quality, not quantity, and that's my personal, belief. But that's,
yeah, and it's still pretty sticky subject.
Yes, it is. It is. It's definitely. I'm very glad for the riders that make the money, but that money is not generated. It's not real money.
Right. It's, somebody's just pulling that out of their pocket for now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you think it'll make it?
I mean, no.
No. Long term, no.
It's not possible. I mean, even rich guys get tired of burning money.
Yeah.
We
see that over and over in this sport.
Yes, exactly. So
the minute it's not fun,
they're
like, why am I spending 7 figures?
Yes,
on this,
exactly. Now, rich guys have been surprising us sometimes. We have a lot of example of rich guys just running teams forever and spending a lot of money, and so I wish them the best, but my belief is it cannot work financially.
In the long term.
Yeah.
So back to the U.S. Open. This was yours, right? You owned this,
absolutely,
top to bottom. And was your concept, I want to take what we did in Bercy and bring it here?
Absolutely. Actually, it was, Jeremy and the guys telling me, why don't we do something like that in U.S.? And I knew the biggest part of this Bercy success was location. Because Bercy could not have happened in another French town or, in another venue. It was like, first, you have a talented group of people, but it's real estate. You need to have the good location, and you have the good building. And location. So right away in '95, I saw MGM Grand being built because to come back to my Yamaha world, we skip in. So in the early '90s, I started that adventure touring business for Yamaha.
There was Teneres back then.
Yes, they were not in US. I was getting them from Europe.
But they made them and sent them to Europe.
Yes,
way back then.
I had the only Teneres in North America. They were in my hangar.
Wow.
So that led me to work with Yamaha. One day I'm in Sedona organizing a convention for Yamaha US, and I hear guys say, well, we need a dealer in Las Vegas. It's bad. The city is exploding. We have no real... And I'm like, guys, I was a dealer in Europe, Suzuki, but I know how to sell bikes. And they kind of like look at me, and I say, seriously, if you're interested, I'll go to Vegas and I'll check if I can make it happen. So my wife and I flew to Vegas. We found an acre lot on Boulder Highway, next to Sam Boyd.
Yep.
Put an option on it, went back to Yamaha, said, hey, I can build a dealership there. Are you game? And Yamaha US were like, yeah, let's do it. And within 15 months, we had a Yamaha dealership on Boulder Highway.
What was it called?
Desert Only Yamaha.
That was north on the...
Yes.
On the, I did autograph signings there.
Oh, I'm sure.
I didn't know that was yours.
But that's okay. It was before social media, and I'm not on social media anyway, so you wouldn't have known. I like to be behind the scene, and so that was the second business that did very well for us. So we had the tour business with Yamaha. Then I had the Yamaha dealership.
So where were you living?
Vegas.
You were living in
Yes,
Vegas.
we left Palm Desert in '92 to start that project.
Did you move your adventure business with you?
Yes, of course.
Okay, yeah.
And adventure business, ironically, was my biggest customer because I was doing all the maintenance through the dealership. So it was kind of like
that worked out nice.
Yeah, it was really working out good.
You were making yourself a lot of money.
Yes, exactly. And then doing Bercy and Geneva and all those races, right? We need to do something. So in '95, when they built the MGM and the MGM arena, I'm like, this is it. Vegas, MGM and stuff. So I went there and they're like, not a chance. You're never going to put dirt in our arena. I'm like, shit. So we kept going. Obviously, when you have a motorcycle dealership, you get connection. You have the CEO of one casino knows the other guys. And I'm like, I want to do that. And finally, Honda, surprisingly, did the convention at their dealer convention at the MGM, and they built a mini Supercross track for Jeremy.
I remember that.
Yes. And I was like, okay, now we're in. So that's, I say, okay, guys, now we have a situation. You've put dirt. And they say, okay, it was okay. Let's do it. And it took still 2 years. I had the incredible luck to connect with the Fox family, show them the project and say, okay, we'll do it together. We're going to be your title sponsor, and the rest is history, short of a few lawsuits and losing sleep. What people don't know is we were sued by Pace Motorsports.
Who owned Supercross?
Yeah, we owned Supercross. The day before the U.S. Open '98, we could have been shut down.
Is that right?
It was like we had our lawyers literally, working on it while we were building the track. It was like, so it's good to be young, as I said.
Was it like a cease and desist?
Yes. Because we had been played by the AMA. I know it's difficult to believe, but the AMA used us to kind of like give a middle finger to Feld Pace at the time, and they gave me a Supercross. They sold me a Supercross sanction for the price of a sports car, and breaking their own rules, meaning the contract with Feld Pace at the time was you cannot do an AMA Supercross in a building that has less than 25,000 seats.
Okay.
And they still signed me a contract for Supercross, for AMA Supercross, with 15,000 seats at the MGM. So that was, but where it was really bad is, why do you sue me? Why do you sue me? But
you're the obvious target in that case.
Yeah,
right?
that was the American way. It's like you
sue everybody.
Sue everybody, and it worked in some ways. But anyway, it was really good because. We ended up selling half to Feld and then the other half. And, I ended up working with them. I was the first VP of international business for those guys. I got the privilege to organize the first monster truck outside of U.S.
Oh, really?
In Paris.
What year did you sell?
2001.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was, and I stayed with them till 2005. I stayed 4 years as a VP of international business.
And then did Monster end up buying the whole thing?
So
turned it into the Monster?
Yeah, we kept doing it. Then I left, and they kept doing it for another. It lasted 12 years. And then we had the big 2009
housing.
Bubble, and that year they decided not to do it. They skipped that year because the economy was kind of like challenged.
Yep.
And then the next year, 2010, Monster came in and said, okay, we are moving it out of the MGM and creating the Monster Cup, which, why not?
So they bought it then?
No, they just, the US Open was sold to Feld. And then Monster basically
wanted to own the right, or
they owned the right.
Title.
They basically, it became their race.
Got
you
it.
know, so I still felt some sense of pride because it was on Columbus weekend every year, you know, in October. So it was definitely a big change, but they did some good things with it. You know, it's just
I mean, that was there's great memories from that event too.
Yeah, exactly.
The feel changes, but
Yeah. It was
like
just
you said, everything changes.
Yeah, it was another Supercross. You know,
Yeah.
it was very well paid. The riders were still getting paid up to the Monster Cup. They were still getting paid the $300,000 we had put in the purse. It was like, nothing changed.
Yeah.
You know, it's difficult sometimes to catch inflation.
Well, one year RV won the million, right?
Yes.
So
And Marvin did too, I think.
did he?
Yep.
Oh, I don't remember that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah. It's a French guy. It doesn't count as much. Just kidding.
Oh, Marv's great.
Yeah, he's awesome.
What years of the U.S. Open stand out for you in that event?
I mean, you know, without a question, Emig year. Emig's redemption.
99, right?
Yes, that's that 98 was great, but you know, Jeremy had a day off that day, and he the first day, and he basically gave the victory to Damon Hoffman, who was great guy, great champ, but it's like, wow, you know, it's like everybody was shocked, you know. I mean, that's
Yeah.
you know, Paggio was his mechanic. You know, it was very good for the heart. Just like, it was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. What year was it when Ricky, kind of in Bercy style, you guys, was it like he was in a cape?
Correct.
And a crown?
That was the first year I lost control, you know.
This was when Feld bought in.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think it would be 2001 or 2002. And when they came to me with that idea, I say, hey, it's your show now, but I don't like it. You know?
did tell him that?
I would clearly tell him, I'm not going to tell to whom I told, but I said, that's not good.
I mean, poor Ricky.
Yeah,
that
Ricky.
caused him a lot of
Yes, exactly.
heartache.
Yes, the new king was not. It was not a good sell. It was not a good sell. Yeah.
I mean, you could have had Jeremy in that get up and maybe Ricky in.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, it was a faux pas, as we say in French.
Faux pas. Yeah. Exactly.
But you know, we all do. Sometimes we think something's going to be really cool, and we're like, oh, we don't. Yeah, no, it's not cool.
Yeah, maybe it sounded good on paper. They just
yeah.
maybe they don't know how fickle the
Yeah.
fans are in our sport.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was a lot of interesting things, you know, like they were filming the movie Supercross and stuff like that, and they brought the WWF vibe, like the guy, remember the producer coming to me say, "Oh, we're gonna have signs, you know, go Ricky, go." Like, we don't really do that in motocross, but now we do.
I was a part of that. So
Oh yeah.
you know, that thing was actually before they got to editing, it was really cool.
Yeah.
The footage was great. Great actors, if you look back, you know,
absolutely.
Channing Tatum and
Absolutely.
there was a lot of really good actors in it. They just over edited it and made it so corny.
Yes, but it's pretty typical to you know, I mean, even movies now. I'm like, we're talking with my wife about series. Like the first season is great, and the second one's like, why do you have to be so corny instantly? Like corny doesn't keep us going. I mean, I don't. You know, I mean, it doesn't. Corny makes me
turn it off. I know.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, seat concepts, hot seat question. Guys, you need a seat for your bike, cover, full custom seat, custom foam, new pan, whatever you need for that thing. Adventure bikes, you guys probably use some comfort seats.
Absolutely.
Very, very important when you're on a long ride. Check those guys out. We love them.
They were my sponsor for EnduroCross. So
Seat Concepts?
Yeah.
Great company.
Good people.
What's your favorite memory of U.S. Open and Bercy? If you had one moment.
You know,
you saw so much stuff, man.
Yeah, like, no, it's my hard drive is so confused. I'm not really good at pinning something. I mean, you know, I was always very close with Ricky. So when, you know, Ricky didn't get lucky in Paris, you know, I got him to go like in 2002. Within minutes, his gearbox from his Cowie locked, and he was with a broken collarbone, which was definitely not a fun moment.
What about JMB?
Yeah, JMB. When JMB did his last Bercy, that was very emotional because I knew he would not come back.
You know him.
Yes, knowing him, I knew he was moving on.
And that was what, 90?
I think it was 92 or 92, 93.
Yeah,
92, 93. That was sad because we had a burst of that talent, and that basically turned the page and he went something else where he did very well, by the way. But it was just like, nowadays when the guy retires, he's kind of laughing, say, you'll be back next year.
Yeah. No, with JMB, you knew it was like, okay, bye,
Yeah, it's almost like a show in itself, just to talk about Bercy and all the emotions we had, good or bad. I have to say, the last one with Malcolm was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because seeing Malcolm with a very upscale underdog, he won Tampa. The same year he wins Tampa and he wins Paris, against the best guys in the world. And that was, very, very good. I had to convince Malcolm, like 15 years ago to do his first race, and I knew he had the potential. We pushed him. We took him to Geneva like 15 years ago and see him win Paris in front of the Lawrences and Webb. It was really, really strong. It's easy to say because it's the last one, but it was also meaningful. When Cooper Webb wins a race, we've seen him win so many races, you cannot get affected that much.
Right. Or if one of the Lawrences had won, you'd be like, that's kind of what we expected. I kind of had picked Malcolm to be come out swinging this year. So,
yes.
And then what happened at A1, obviously, thank God he's okay.
Yeah, it seems like he's going to race tomorrow.
That's what I hear. But he had this momentum building and this confidence building.
Absolutely.
So I hope that's still there.
Yeah, the stewards are great people. That's the bottom line. Is most of those guys are great people. They always have moments of doubts, of sometimes arrogance and stuff. But most of the champions are great people.
Yeah.
And it's just have to be patient sometimes.
What about us non-champions? Are we okay?
Yeah. You're a champ. You won Paris.
You know what? I do have a #1 plate from the Moto Supercross.
Yes, that was fun.
We'll get to that.
Oh, God. I forgot.
We got a lot more to talk about. Yeah. This is your Troy Lee Designs Timeout. Stick around. We'll be right back here with more Eric Peronnard.
Dedication to progression to the future of the sport.
Pro Circuit. Pro Circuit products are designed with one goal in mind: winning. Through passion and hard work, Pro Circuit has operated the most successful 250 team in the history of the sport. They use that same formula when developing exhaust, engine, and suspension parts for every brand. When only the highest level of performance is acceptable, trust Pro Circuit.
At Seat Concepts, our handcrafted seats are made in America. Visit us online or call today. Seat Concepts. Ride the world with us.
Something from nothing. That's what Nihilo Concepts is about. It starts with a spark, an idea, a concept, which leads to a design, and finishes with engineered excellence with the highest quality products created with durability in mind. All our products are made in the USA at our state-of-the-art facility in Stuart, Florida. Whether you are a weekend warrior, ride for fun, or at the highest level of competition, Nihilo Concepts offers innovative titanium, aluminum, and carbon fiber parts for your dirt bike. We offer a wide variety of products that you can customize to your liking. Browse our site for foot pegs, brake tips, engine components, specialty tools, frame grip tape, lever grips, carbon fiber components, motor stands, our secondary on-switch, plus much more. Head to NihiloConcepts.com and see for yourself why factory teams like Red Bull KTM, Rockstar Husqvarna, Troy Lee Designs Gas, Orange Brigade, Club MX, KLM Gas, and some of the fastest riders in the world choose Nihilo Concepts.
The inspiration for Element, interestingly, was from working with my coaches. I sat down with those guys. I'm like, hey, here's what I'm doing. What should I do? And they looked at everything and they were like, you need more electrolytes, specifically sodium. And like most people do when they have a coach, I ignored what their advice was. I'm kind of like, well, I salt my food, I'm probably good. And it took me at least a year to finally listen to these guys and do what they asked me to do. And it was just a switch flip. It was just so obvious that this was the critical missing piece to the story. And it's ironic that this salt piece was like the linchpin, the keystone to making all the rest of that work.
Arc levers are the most durable and reliable on the market. They have the most premier class championships of any aftermarket lever. Arc is the only ratio-adjustable folding lever on the planet, and their patented design is precision machined in-house right here in the USA. The occasional tip-over on the bike is inevitable. Broken levers? Those are optional. Visit arclevers.com today. Toyota has become synonymous with reliability, and for good reason. Toyota vehicles are consistently rated #1 by Consumer Reports and in customer satisfaction. Partner that with a dealership that wholeheartedly supports the motocross community, and it's crystal clear where you should buy your next car or truck, Toyota of Redlands. As a major partner of the BarX Yamaha racing team, as well as personal sponsor of many factory racers and a premier partner of the Whiskey Throttle Show, Toyota of Redlands is heavily invested in Moto. Check out all the new and used Tundras, Tacomas, and other vehicles at Toyota of Redlands today. Reliability, performance, and customer service. Get it all at Toyota of Redlands. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than ProX. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, if it wears out, ProX makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better.
The Specialized Science Club introduces the Levo 4, an electric mountain bike so advanced it borders on sorcery. Together, you and the Levo 4 become a harmonious hybrid of organic and synthetic. It's a rider-enhancing machine that transforms you into a cycling cyborg. 720 watts of power and 111 Newton meters of torque, amplifying your mortal muscles, allowing you to bend space and time to your will. All channeled through futuristic suspension, with honed geometry, granting super control while traversing extreme terrain at hyper speed. With supernatural power delivery, you'll have super traction to conquer climbs where others spin out. And you'll tire, if at all, before the bike does. Thanks to the Levo 4's super range.
Every good podcast show has got to have an underwear sponsor, right? Well, we went right to the top, Ethica. These guys make the best underwear. If you haven't tried a pair, you don't know what you're missing. Your life hasn't even started yet. So try a pair of Ethicas on. Go to Ethica.com. Use our code WHISKEY20. Get you 20% off. And give all of your nether regions a break, man. It's vacation time for the boys. These things are comfortable. You're riding. Your butt's not going to get all chafed. These things are awesome. And guess what? They don't just make underwear. No. Tees, hats, beanies, sweatshirts, shorts. For kids, ladies, toddlers, old people, everybody, you name it, they make them. You know what else they make? Moto gloves. I didn't even know that. I just found it out. So get over to Ethica.com, check them out. These guys are awesome. Whiskey20, use our code. Don't cheat me now. Get 20% off and put your buns in the best undies around. Ethica.com. The Whiskey Throttle Show is a proud partner of Factory Effects, a leader in the power sports industry for over 30 years. Factory Effects specializes in officially licensed products with everything you need to upgrade your bike, including graphics, seat covers, and accessories. They also offer the largest line of officially licensed OEM casual wear for Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, and Suzuki, so you can rep your brand on and off the bike. In the garage or at the track, Factory Effects has you covered with a full line of OEM garage and track gear, from bike stands and tie-downs to bike mats. Factory Effects is truly made for the ride. And right now you can save 25% off your order by using the discount code WT26 at factoryeffects.com. Nano Extreme is a proud partner of the Whiskey Throttle Show, and we're glad to have them. This product has changed the way folks are dealing with pain, whether it's chronic or acute, and doing it in a completely natural way. When pain strikes, whether it's from sore muscles, stiff joints, or arthritis, finding fast and effective relief is a top priority. That's where Nano Extreme comes in. Capsaicin, derived from chili peppers, is a natural compound known for its ability to block pain signals and provide long-lasting comfort. Whether you're suffering from arthritis, joint pain, or muscle pain, capsaicin cream works by desensitizing pain receptors in the affected area, giving you targeted relief where you need it most. Consistent application can lead to better joint function, less muscle soreness, and improve overall comfort in your arthritis, making it a must-have for anyone dealing with chronic pain. So stop living in pain or taking regular NSAIDs and other anti-inflammatories that aren't good for you. Get Nano Extreme and stop the pain. Welcome back. That was your Troy Lee Designs timeout. Get over to troyleedesigns.com. Check out all the things they've got over there. The SC5 helmet, all the new colorways are out, and you can get that in carbon, composite, polyacrylite, different kind of price points for each of those, but the same quality, safety, and designs from Troy Lee Designs. All their new gear, mountain bike gear, helmet paint. They're up and running. Check them out. We appreciate their support. And I want to get back to that. Speaking of stories and Troy, you were telling me something off camera there about Bercy when Mitch was driving, because I remembered, I think it was either 95 or 96, and Mitch was grabbing the steering wheel of a van. Obviously, he's not driving.
Yeah.
He's in the passenger seat, but he's steering over and trying to knock the other van's mirror off.
Yeah.
And again, I'm a kid. I'm 18, 19 or whatever, and I'm just like, what is happening? You know, why? I can't believe they're doing this.
Yes.
And
you're right, because, you know, one thing people don't realize is Europe 25 years ago was wild. You know, US, you were still, you know, very disciplined people, you know, speed limit and all that stuff. But 25 years ago in Europe, it was a free-for-all.
Yeah.
We were going in, I mean, we leaving the airport, we're going under 20 miles an hour,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, on the freeway to Paris. With the speed limit, nobody was respecting anything. As you know, people were smoking everywhere. There was like it was a big FU to the world, you know. It's like, and we were taking young American riders like you, and we were just like, I mean, it was a shock. It was a shock, and I felt like at some point it was getting, you know, to a situation where that would be bad. And we had a couple accidents. Fortunately, nothing bad, you know.
Yeah. Well, tell me the story, because I was telling you that van story, and you said that you guys bumped into a scooter rider.
Yeah, scooter riders. Yeah, we were going to the club, and everybody was lit, of course, and we racing each other with, with the vans. And I don't think I was driving, because I was kind of like I had younger, crazier guy driving for me, like locals, you know. Okay. I mean, they do better job.
Yeah.
And we clipped a scooter, and the guy like was sliding on the road, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, that's a wake up call." And we went and picked up the guy, and all the factory mechanics started to look at the scooter. Okay, we're gonna fix your bike, and the guy realized, say, you're the Bercy Supercross guys, and he was so excited that we actually.
That's hilarious.
They clipped him. That was a moment where we felt like we went too far, and it was not far enough, you know.
But you said the riders were all signing his shirt
Yeah,
and stuff,
yeah, exactly.
and he was all pumped. That could have gone
Yeah,
the other way.
Oh,
in a hurry.
exactly. And after that, slowly but surely, by the beginning of this century, the rules got stricter in France. It became more like US. Like suddenly speed limit was enforced. And people were driving less crazy. It was less wild than it was, and that went with the turnover of Ricky Carmichael bringing a different mentality to racing. I'm not, even though Ricky came only a couple times to Paris, he changed our world. He turned party animals / athletes into athletes.
Yeah.
And that's and.
Yeah.
I'm glad he did that, because I couldn't do the partying I was doing 20 years ago.
Too old to do that now. I mean, and he really did change it, because it's like, okay, well, if you're going to have a chance at competing with this guy, you've got to match his level of commitment.
Yes.
I remember a time, I think it was in Italy. We were going down somewhere. I don't think it was Saporitti's, but maybe it was Bologna. Anyway, we were driving, and Larry Ward's in the passenger seat, and this van driver, a big, tall, van, they're picking up 10 or 12 of us. And he's driving, he was bragging about how he's a Ferrari test driver.
Yeah.
And he's on the Autobahn, and I mean, we're going way faster than this van should be going, especially with this weight and this many people. And we were all kind of like, whoa, this guy's not, I mean, just like weaving in and out of people and just going for it. And we kept saying, hey, dude, whoa, just slow down, calm down. He's like, oh, no, I got it. I'm pro, And Larry reaches over and grabs him right on the trap right here and just squeezes him. He goes, slow down or I'm throwing you out of the car. And the guy's like, slowed down finally. But it was wild. You're right. Those days were crazy.
Yeah, those days are gone. It's not like it's just the environment is just gone.
Really?
We can't do that. I mean, from the regulation, in Europe, now Europe is so sad. You have a speeding. I mean, you have
cameras, right?
Camera radars everywhere, cops everywhere. We couldn't do a tenth of, even if the riders, the athletes, were in the mood of doing that. We couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. It's just, we were doing. I mean, with Bevo, remember the car was so light. I was getting Bevo to move cars.
Right.
Yeah. We needed a parking spot. Bevo and couple big guys like a Muffin. We were just getting cars out of the spot to take them there and leaving cars in the middle of the street. I mean, it's just we were doing things we couldn't do now. But once again, it's like rock and roll. It's not the same. The party going with rock and roll in the 80s and stuff. It's just different time.
It's different time.
Let's enjoy what we have now.
Well, and I'm just thankful to have lived through that and being able to be a part of it a little bit. Because. I'm not saying it's not fun now, but it's not the same.
No,
not the same.
It's.
You say you had to get some guys out of jail, the freestyle guys?
Yeah, freestyle guys. They were awesome. They were just the most brutal. And, the original freestyle guys, short of Travis and Kerry Hart, were genuinely well-behaved. The other guys were just they were just going for it, and I got Mike Jones and Ronnie Feist out of jail, and it was a fun experience because they got into fights and stuff. They were
in the jail.
No. The bicycle you can rent. They were just taking them, and they got arrested. And it was just like the best. Good people. It's really what I'm the happiest with my life is the fact that I've been able to engage and have fun with all those different tribes, from the motocross, supercross, freestyle, enduro, mini moto. I mean, it's like, very few people had that chance because we very often stuck in our own bubble. Like, I don't know the enduro champ or the freestyle champ, and that's really my best pride. To have been able to really engage and know all those different segments of the moto industry.
Well, let's jump into that other segment because I want to know about how EnduroCross came to be. This is it's such a great idea, and it's kind of like a no-brainer. Off-road, but blended with Supercross in that setting where you can actually see it. Because that's always the knock on off-road. It's like, well, how do you spectate this?
Exactly.
You can't even film it for TV. So it's just a great concept. Tell me about how that came to be.
So, I I would say 2001 or 2, the Barcelona Supercross people, the people I was working. You went to Barcelona, right? No. I mean,
I never did Barcelona.
Okay.
I did Madrid.
No, yeah, they were, enduro guys, and they called me and we talked, and they said we're gonna do an enduro indoor. I'm like, but an enduro, a real enduro indoor, it's like enduro, it's special test, one guy after the other, and I went to see them and to help them, and I really like what they did, but it was like, this is not it. We need to do a Supercross enduro, not an enduro indoor. It's like it needs to be brutal like a Supercross, and that's the name EnduroCross came in my mind. I trademarked it right away to make sure that was protected, and in 2004 we launched the first EnduroCross with
as a standalone event.
Yeah, for 3 years it was standalone, and that was the best because we had all the best guys from all over the world, and the best like Rhino came, and for a while it was a motocross guy, territory, which I thought was so cool. To have Rhino and to have John Dowd winning it was like, this is first, they're my buddies more than the enduro guys that I knew, but they were not like people I see every weekend.
Sure.
And that was absolutely fantastic.
Was it MGM Grand?
No, at the Orleans.
It was at the Orleans. Okay.
The MGM was not ready for that. It was it was a low budget. Enduro is always low budget compared to Supercross. We could never have made it work in the MGM. So the Orleans was opening the door and say, hey, let's do something fun, and that became the home of EnduroCross.
Awesome.
And it's still going. So 20 years later, it's changed. It's been so EnduroCross became so big instantly. Not in numbers, but just like everybody was so excited about it that X Game called me to have EnduroCross at X Games. And that's where we had EnduroCross. The biggest EnduroCross ever was Staples Center, 2011, sold out for EnduroCross.
Okay.
And everybody's there. I mean, we're talking everybody. Maybe you were there. As every X Game champ and Moto guys, because it's in California. So we had this, and it worked out very well for 3 or 4 years, and then they decided to switch back and go back more to freestyle or whatever. But then I was in with X Games, so since that day I've been the Moto organizer.
The liaison from all Moto.
I'm the sports organizer for Moto. So it's select the athletes and take them all over the world, because that has been the case. And so being exposed to the freestyle guys, which are lovely people.
For sure.
And they're aging too. Freestyle is aging.
Except Twitch. He doesn't seem to get older.
He is getting older, but he's not.
Peter Pan syndrome. For EnduroCross, did you ever turn it into a series, or was that after you sold it?
The year I sold it is when we turned it into a series.
Okay.
I was not ready to turn it into a series because I once again, I like quality over quantity, but it was a need. And, I always felt like I'm better selling stuff than, because if you don't sell, you get stuck in what you're doing. Yeah. And by selling, it allows you to think about something else and create something else eventually. So sold it 3 years later. It was, I had promised to my family that I would take some time off. I had 2 young boys, and my wife was lovely as always, but we took a year off. I sold EnduroCross. We launched the series, and we took a year off, and we went around the world with my wife and kids.
So you weren't even consulting for them?
They still paid me. Yes, I was consulting.
Okay.
They gave me a phone, and I said, okay, you call me whenever you want.
Yeah. And it seems like, and this is, like with any business, I mean, I guess ideally you build it, you grow it to have all this value, and then you sell.
Yeah.
Was that always kind of your intention?
Always. I'm not attached. I want to create new things. Like when we built the dealership, we sold it to bankroll the U.S. Open, because it was, we needed some cash to do the U.S. Open. And trust me, the casino people, they were not gambling on me and my partner Fox, etc. They wanted to make sure they would get paid. So it was really
Cash up front.
Yes, it was like they kept all the sales for the tickets. Everything was in their bank until the show happened, and then they gave us the money. But the timing was good. It was just everything worked out good.
Well, you seem to have been very smart with your timing. I don't know if that's strategic or a little bit of luck, maybe some of both.
Yeah,
but
it's luck, and it's just when you're lucky, you feel good, but you're lucky. That's all. It's impossible to do a U.S. Open today. It's just a matter of doing things. Mitch is always teasing me, let's restart the U.S. Open. I'm like, Mitch, with whom? I mean, do you understand? Like every rider now wants way more money than we made.
Yeah. Yeah, it would just be full of privateers and
which could be good, but the spectators would not support it. That's a sad part.
Yeah, I guess that's part of the sport growing to a point where like those cool one-offs almost can't even happen.
Yes, and it's the writing is on the wall. Formula One, 50 years ago, you had exhibition races. 30 years ago it was over. MotoGP, MotoGP had exhibition races. It's all gone. We've been very fortunate with motocross that we still have those races, but the long term is not super positive. I mean, I'm talking 10, 20 years from now. I don't know. I mean, when you see how heavy motocross is nowadays, it's just like the amount of people that go with one rider. During your time, you came with your mechanic. That was it. Now it's 10 people per riders. Guess who's paying for that?
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, sadly, that's probably the truth.
Yeah.
These cool one-offs are probably not going to be around long term. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's, maybe 10 years, but it's not going to be, our kids won't have the chance we had, put it this way.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I guess I never really thought about that, but you're totally right. EnduroCross is for sale right now. I don't know if you knew that.
It's been kind of, I heard that, but it could be. It's totally possible.
Would you ever consider entertain buying it back?
No. I would help people that want to buy back because it's my baby, and but at the same time it's a page, turn pages. It's like
I get it.
Yep.
What about X Games? I was fortunate enough to be able to do Supermoto a couple times and got to experience that.
Yep. Just before EnduroCross, because actually they did Supermoto and they stopped Supermoto and hired me for EnduroCross. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm always I guess I want to know what your experience is like with ESPN there, because as an athlete they treat you really well.
Absolutely.
They pay you really well.
Yes.
That side's really cool.
Yeah.
But it's so made for TV that they don't cater to fans at all.
Absolutely.
Or like we sat on the grid with our tire warmers and pulling them off, taking them off forever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because they're like, oh wait, hold on, commercial, and then okay, get ready, and then we'd all start up. Okay, never mind. Oh, we got 5 minutes. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. No, absolutely, and it's just it's the nature of the beast. I mean, I remember 10 years ago having Taka on stage, ready to go for best tricks, and he's like ready to do a trick that is,
crazy,
pretty scary, and we keep having hold, commercial break, and I mean, I was just thinking, just being a rider at some stage, thinking, God, I would crap in my pants.
It's hard.
That's just like so difficult, and suddenly tap on the shoulder, you have to go, and the guy goes for a double flip or something like that. I'm like, oh God, it's crazy. But
I think Travis's double flip, that was his experience. He goes, man, I sat there for so long waiting and just like thinking, I'm gonna do it. I'm not,
Yeah, so it's definitely, and times have changed. First, ESPN is not involved anymore. ESPN sold it.
Oh, they did?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know that. So who owns it?
It's a private equity group, and they're good people. I know them, but I cannot tell you what's the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so we are less definitely less appetite for crazy stuff. I mean, it's we're not gonna get guys that claims like the guy that was supposed to do, I forgot his name, the first double backflip, came all equipped with hockey.
With the gardening gloves?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, shoot. Oh, his name's on the tip of my brain.
Me too. But anyway, that's I remember that day, like
he showed up in an ambulance. Remember that was his race truck.
Yeah, exactly. And it's that I don't think we have an appetite for. It's a different environment. It's still a great group of people. The freestylers are awesome. They know X Games is their Olympics.
Yeah.
But it's just there's a lack of youth coming. I found a couple good Australians, but it's like US has lost appetite for freestyle, which is surprising. It is.
Yeah, I think it's gone more free ride. Like what Axel's doing.
Yeah.
And they'll do like quarter pipe or whatever else he does, but the freestyle thing, it's kind of fallen out of vogue with that crowd, and it's more free ride, like go out and do ride in the hills or something.
I've got some back. When I told you when I was a kid and I got into freestyle skiing, it was a big wave. That's the only thing people talked about, and then suddenly it kind of like went away. You know what I mean? Nobody knows who is the world champion of freestyle skiing. When 20 years ago it was pretty big time. I mean, it's like we had some serious people that were part of the mainstream, but today it's like, and I don't know if the appetite for danger goes to a plateau and then it goes down,
Yeah, maybe it's just generational. Like you don't want to do what your dad did, right? Yeah. So once that era's to that, once there's a new one, they go, my dad did that. I don't want. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Maybe that becomes cool. Because I know in skiing there's the Freeride World Tour.
Yeah.
But that's more them picking a line, and they'll do tricks, off of cliffs and
like
stuff. But it's not freestyle skiing. You know what I mean? It's different.
Yeah, that was part of the beginning as well. It was like you had basically jump, aerials, and then you had hot dogging, which was, they were dropping you from the biggest mountain, going through moguls and pulling tricks in the middle. That was really good for TV at the time, but I guess there's too much choices now. I don't know. I mean, it's like
sometimes it's hard to track, huh?
Yeah.
Why is something popular?
Yeah.
It's hard to predict. Oh, this will be the next thing.
Exactly. And then monster truck is very popular. So go figure.
What?
I'm sure it will be sold out this weekend in Anaheim.
I know.
Yeah.
I think that's just a different crowd, though, right? Like kids love it.
Yeah.
And I've heard it's a really good show. I've been to one since I was a kid, but it's interesting. I guess I wanted to ask what your thoughts were on how they choose events, because you go back to when it started and there was like street luge, and I'll still remember Biker Sherlock being like the guy in that.
Yeah.
It's crazy that I know that guy's name. And street luge was so silly when you think about it now. But then you go through things that work, like let's say Supermoto. I thought Supermoto was incredible when it started.
Yeah.
It sort of butted right up against the economic crash of 2008 and some of that, and I think that petered it out. But then they'll bring something in, and then it goes away, and they'll bring something else in. I'm always sometimes scratching my head, like, why'd you get rid of that? That was great, step up.
Yeah.
Why'd they get rid of that? Did they just hit a peak where they're like, all right, no one's going higher than that?
It's all, it's complicated because, it's TV. It's a TV show. So you have a small platform, meaning a stadium or something like that, and you're trying to squeeze as much as you can in 3 days.
Yeah.
And with TV windows, which are extremely challenging, like suddenly tell you, it has to be at that time, and then you have Supermoto freestyle an hour later. So I can't do that. It's not possible. We've done, all my biggest accomplishment work-wise were done for X Games, where say, hey, we're like, first time we came to EnduroCross, it's like we do freestyle on Friday night, then we do EnduroCross on Saturday night, and Sunday morning I want best tricks. I'm like, guys, do you understand we have to move 3,000 tons of dirt in and out? And we did it. We had great crew.
Up all night.
Yeah, all night. Taking really big chances. I'm really grateful that nobody got hurt, but everybody was just like we're zombies. All the guys like Matt McCall, Shane Schaefer, all those great people that can work their ass off. I did see them being at the end of the rope, and it's just, I kept telling them, I said, guys, we're going to have a problem one day. I remember step up is a very difficult thing to build. It's very tall. We have to put the trusses. I mean, I've seen guys getting very close to losing it, building that at 6 a.m. after working 12 hours nonstop. So that's kind of a situation. I think they should have done to a point where we have all the venues for each sport ready, and you just have to have the athletes going to. But since it's semi-spectator and TV, you need to be having spectators, because spectators are, as much as they are not the number one, they're still the number two.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, logistically, it's crazy.
Logistically, it's been my biggest challenge in my life, and I'm pretty happy that I succeeded, but sadly we could only do mediocre, because when you have 12 hours to build, the next track, you can only do mediocre. Mediocre is excellence at that point, because you don't have the day to fine tune the aspect of the track and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, it always, at least on TV, always came across great.
Like we did that year, we did Supercross the last day. So we did EnduroCross the next day. We did Supercross with Chad Reed and Brayton, and it was amazing. It was amazing. We had,
That's cool. Does that rank pretty high on your list of accomplishments?
Yes. I mean, doing being given the opportunity to be the moto guy for X Games, and as long as we were in California, it was really like on a very high level. When we left California and we went to Texas, we just got the unluckiest weather in the world. Like it never rains in Texas. We had our tracks washed away. I mean, half a dozen times.
Yeah, what do you do?
And it's just rebuilding. It was just like becoming one of those situations, I'm sure in your job, where you don't see the end. We didn't see the end of the tunnel. It was and everybody was breaking down, like, man. And we're doing flat track, we're doing EnduroCross, doing freestyle, and we were getting a foot of water in the middle of the build, and we even rented helicopters to dry the mud.
Oh, really?
It's just
hover over this dirt for a while?
What I said that one. I said the only way we're gonna dry that mud is to have a helicopter. What helicopter? Phone call, and that was ESPN time. There was no budget.
Wow, that's a big fan.
Yeah. That was the biggest fan I knew.
Okay, Red Bull Straight Rhythm. Let's talk that for just a second. I remember Malat talking about this years ago, and when he brought it to life, I was kind of like, I don't know. At the Pomona Fairplex, it was like the venue was just kind of a little ratty.
Yeah.
When they did it at Huntington Beach, I went, okay, this is what this was like.
Yep.
This is how this was meant to look and feel. And I think the turnout that year was great.
Absolutely.
The show with Roxon and Marv, and the final was just a great year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And then it went away, and that was when World Supercross kicked in, and so now, like I said, I feel like there's so much racing.
Yeah.
It's pushing all of those cool one-offs by the wayside.
And Jeremy Malott did a great job, but I think he's a smart guy, and he knows you can't go, you can't make it happen past a certain stage. And I think it was very hard for him to realize that yes, all the Red Bull guys are going to come because it's Red Bull guys, but the other guys are going to drag their feet, and be politically incorrect, in the fact that they don't want to be, they don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Actually, they're politically correct, because if you're a monster rider, you don't want to go to a Red Bull race, which is, I mean, all the Red Bull guys have been to monster race.
They're racing Monster Energy Supercross.
Exactly. So it was when I left Huntington, and the satisfaction of how good it went, I never guessed it was the last one.
Yeah.
I mean, it's strange, in our lives when you are somewhere and you don't know it's the last one. I left Hawaii when we relaunched the Hawaiian Supercross. It did so well. I couldn't believe the next year they would level the stadium because of COVID.
Wait, that the Aloha Cross was yours?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. What years did you do it?
19. It was before me in
Okay,
in
80.
90s or something. But then we restarted it in 19, and I did that with a couple monster truck guys, and we had. It was great. All the riders, we had the best time, and I took care of the riders well, like I like to do, and everybody was happy. And then COVID happened. It's like I said, we were already planning the year 2 or the year 3, and that was a race that would have been picking up.
And you're saying they leveled that stadium?
Yeah, the old Aloha Stadium they were planning to do something within 5 years. And, within 5 years, that was enough to build an event. And then what happened, COVID happened, and it's a city-owned stadium, and they say, well, you know what, if it's shut down, let's level it now and redo it now. So it's what they did. And
are they rebuilding it or not?
I don't even know. I haven't checked because that's and Geneva was the same way. We left Geneva. Okay, see you next year. Blah blah blah. And COVID happened, and that's they lost the appetite.
I don't know that people understand the work and pressure that goes into promoting an event. I partnered with a guy in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Would have been 2005 or 6 maybe. And it was called Aloha Cross. We were going to do it in the Blaisdell Arena in downtown Honolulu.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's doing. I was the liaison over here, getting the riders lined up and helping with logistics. Shane Schaefer came over and built the track.
Yeah.
Metzger did the freestyle demo. Well, at the last minute, they said, "Oh no, we put something else in the stadium. You guys can't have it." And he's like, I've got sponsors committed because it's here."
Yeah.
We ended up at some stock car track infield out of town. Yeah. It rained the whole weekend. This guy lost everything.
No, I know. It's really a tough business, and you need to be the right age to do it. I don't have the strength to do it today. Risking everything like we did. In the 90s, we basically put everything on the table in Las Vegas to make the MGM happen.
Yeah, and
it happened. But it could have not happened.
Right. Well, and even the Elsinore Grand Prix, I was the last promoter of that, myself and a guy named Lauren. Lou, Jeremy's older than Lou. Lou and I did that. And I was exhausted from just laying out the track, hammering stakes, running for this, going for that, dealing with this problem and that problem. And then I really didn't even consider the liability.
Yeah.
That's the other part. It's like you don't even, they'll sue everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
For any reason. I actually called Goat Brecker because he had run it for so many years. And I said, Goat, why'd you stop doing this? Before I jump into this, tell me. He goes, Ping, get good insurance. He goes, my last year, he goes, what kind of did it for me? He goes, we got sued every year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? He goes, last time some guy was walking his dog through the pits and it reached out and nipped some girl, just put a scratch in her leg. And she sued him, she sued me, she sued the city, she sued the track, she sued everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yes, it's a tough job. The reward can be great, but the chances of losing everything are pretty good too. So, you have to do it in the right frame of mind. It's why those big corporations like Feld, they have a system, a protocol. They have insurance agent with them and stuff. And still, it's not
great attorneys.
It's still they have their issues.
I love the straight rhythm because I feel like our sport is always so high pressure. Even Bercy was fun that way because you went there and you wanted to win, but then like at the end of the night, everybody was friends. We were there for a good time too.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so you didn't have the pressure of points and a championship on the line. And I feel like our sport needs some of that. Needs some more fun injected into it because it's so stinking serious now.
Yeah. Even in Paris years ago, after you came, we had that situation where riders didn't know each other. I was getting rider X and rider Y, and I say, hey, you guys met? No, we just see each other on the gate. I'm like, wow, and it was just like shocking.
I know.
You know how and you know, it's everybody has been kind of building a bubble where they are in their bubble with their entourage and don't communicate with other riders, which I think is sad because moto is an individual sport, but it's a lot of fun to do it with your friends. Yeah,
it's a brotherhood. This is such a
exactly.
small
That's the right word.
Small sport on the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
And to be all siloed off like that is it's a bummer.
Yeah.
You know, the old days. I know we keep talking about the old days a lot, but 70s, 80s, 90s. Pick your era. Yeah, you'd battle. Fiercely on the track, right? You could hate each other, but off the track, you're buddies. You know, I even guys I didn't know, Stanton and Bradshaw. I thought they hated each other.
Yeah.
And I've had them both on the show, and they're like, "Oh no, we'd play basketball all the time. We were, we were buddies. We had a lot of respect for each other. We were friends." And I'm like, "Really? I didn't know that."
Yeah.
But most guys were, you know.
It's a different environment, and I don't know if it's a mentality, but I think there's so many. Like I told you earlier, when you came to Paris, you came with your mechanic. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, now it's like we have to book
the engine guy.
Yeah, the trainer, the masseuse. I mean, it's like it's endless, and they're all good people. I'm glad to have them, but it creates for you to talk to the next guy. You know, it was just a matter of turning your head and talking to the next guy.
Yeah.
Today, everybody's kind of like
insulated,
and you know, it's funny. I think it was in 2009 when James Stewart was at his peak. We signed him, you know, arguably one of the biggest contract ever signed for any international race. And I mean, his agent called me and says, "We need to have partition. We need to make sure that he's protected from the public and you know, other people." And like, wow. And it's, you know, this is the two big turning points in our life. We have Ricky that turns the scene into athletes and less fun but more results, and you have James that kind of made that step, you know, say, I don't want to be seeing fans all day long. It's too much. And I don't know if it's the fans' fault or the rider's fault, but the fact is that was the beginning. And now we are down to 45-minute autograph session. That's it.
I hate it.
Yeah, and you know, 30 years ago, we were all there in the back of the box van, you know. And
you'd stand at the little ribbon watching 30 feet away from Rick Johnson in his underwear changing gear.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know, which was probably too much, but like, I hate this where, you know, you go to the race and there's a 100-yard long line.
Yeah.
And the guy at the end, he may not even get a signature.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to do for 45 minutes and he's done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I hate that. I think that's a bad deal for us.
And that's
sport.
an evolution. I'm sure it's the same everywhere, but you know, I've lived, like, I remember Ricky in 2005 when we US went to win in France, Motocross of Nation, the famous one with Ricky Wyndham.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, I was shocked about the lack of, you know, privacy we could get. I mean, Ricky was at the peak of his game, you know, Motocross of Nation. And I had to really hide him under my driver's seat sometime to go places because.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was a mob. It was a mob. I mean, I had to ask more fencing to protect the U.S. team and stuff like that. It's now people are used to it, but at the time it was so offensive that you felt like shit. People are really like they'll kill their mom to get his jersey. You know, I mean,
I guess that's a little bit surprising to me because I don't see that really over here. But even Pastrana, I was talking to him the other week. I was picking his brain about knee replacements, and we were talking about a race he might go to this year. And he says, "Dude, honestly, it's hard for me to go to a race because I get mauled." Yeah. And I'm like, really? I mean, I don't know. I guess I just don't pay attention to that. But,
it's like walking. I remember I was with Bercy at Supermotocross and in Germany, and he didn't want to race, but he was there, you know, kind of like to support whatever. And we spent the evening together, but it was like, I'm like, shit, it's like you really, I mean, you know, we're not going to complain that motocross guys are famous, but it's like it gives you an idea of the life of the real famous people because they can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I guess it just always surprises me.
It's heavy, and we're doing the best to protect them, you know, and, you know, it's just something that has been always kind of shocking to a point, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, because it was not like that 20 years ago. I mean, 30 years ago, the guys were friendly. You had 10 guys after you win Paris that, you know, at the end getting out of the stadium. But now we need security to get people out of the stadium, you know.
I guess it surprises me because I'll see these guys, like, perfect example, this was right after Stefan Evert's career. He retired.
Yeah.
And he had come over for A1 to watch A1, and it was real close. Maybe it was the 3rd or 4th, so it was real close to Christmas. And I'm shopping, Christmas shopping at the mall right here.
Yeah.
And I see him walking towards me, and I'm like, I don't expect to see him, right? So I'm like, wait, I know this guy. And I'm like, that's Stefan Everts, you know? And to me, a motocross fan, he's like royalty, right?
Course.
So in that moment, I'm tripping out. I'm going, this is crazy.
Nobody knows him here.
No one knows who this guy is.
I know.
He can walk amongst these people, and like no one even recognized him, right? So to hear that kind of stuff or hear Travis say that, I'm like,
it's only, the good thing is we have that issue only in our giant bubble.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, once you, I remember I was with Ricky 10 years ago in Australia doing a Supercross, and we were like, there was 2 stadiums, and one stadium was playing Taylor Swift, the other stadium was playing, you know, Supercross. Yeah. And we were walking back to a hotel together, and I'm like, and of course it's every step of the way Ricky has to do a picture, sign. I'm like, and we get to the traffic light, and I say, it's good. On the other side,
these are Swifties over here.
Nobody will know you. And we cross the street, and nobody would even look at him. So,
you're right. It's just in our bubble.
Yeah. So fortunately, for our athletes, they don't have to suffer that all day long.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, but when they go to the race, the minute they get into that, you know, that special compound that we call Supercross or Motocross, then they are like superstars, which is awesome. I want them to be superstars. But when they come back to, I'm sure they go 7-Eleven, and time to time a guy say, oh, you're so-and-so, but it's not.
Yeah, I think most of them could still, maybe not Travis. Travis has really transcended motocross.
Yes,
he's like...
He's bigger than motocross.
Yes, he is. But I think anyone else, even Jet Lawrence, he could walk through the mall here, and maybe a handful of people would recognize him. But
if he doesn't wear a Red Bull hat, you know, I think he can pretty much walk. I mean, if you start wearing your stuff, that would trigger people's, you know. Yeah.
Okay, the next thing here is about one of your events that to me was the funniest thing, maybe one of the most fun events I've ever done. Is the
I know which one you're going.
Moto Supercross.
Yes.
I mean, when you tell people, pit bikes, little kids' bikes, we would race those in a stadium like a real Supercross. I mean, it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah. But
it was really big in that window.
Yeah.
Pit bikes just got so big, and I don't know. Tell me the genesis of that, because to go, you know what, I'm going to go back to the Orleans and build a Supercross track for pit bikes.
Yeah, no, that was really a fun project. You know, it was my right-hand guy and super good friend, Tim Clark. You know, he was my guy, my marketing guy for US Open and everything. And you know, when I left Feld Pace, him and I got together. And I told him, hey, we're going to do EnduroCross. And he told me, we're going to do Mini Moto together. And I'm like, let's do it together, you know, because he had this idea that it would work. And I had all the ingredients, you know, I had the keys of the stadium and the knowledge and everything. So we made that happen together, you know. And it was just like one of those things that, once again, you could do it because you had an established final in Vegas and stuff. Today, we don't know where the championship is going to finish next year, because I've been thinking about restarting it, but you need to make it happen in the place where we have the Moto community. Yeah. Because it's only fun if the Moto community is here. Otherwise, just another race. Yeah. So we launched it. We had 300 entries. I even raced the first one, which was, you know, like a to give you an idea of how serious we're taking each other, and it was just fun, and people loved it. And within 5 years, we had 1,000 entries. We had security.
Yeah, I remember. I did them all.
Yeah. We had security, and everybody was wanting to do it. And then the wave, once again, it was 2004. It went full speed up to the 2008,
the bubble,
9 crashes. Then suddenly people didn't have 20 grand to put in a pit bike. Your class,
No, the pro bikes were insane.
Yeah.
And the only reason I was doing it, my friend was Alex McCallier, who owned Red Baron.
Exactly.
Which was one of the biggest,
absolutely.
mini bike companies at the time.
Phoenix, Phoenix area, right? Yeah.
So I was doing testing for him and helping him develop these bikes, and they were crushing it for those, I guess, 5, 6, 7 years,
Yeah, that's
and then it just shut off.
Yeah, and then at that time it was already sold, but I was still pretty much in charge.
Who bought it?
Prime Media.
Oh, okay.
Prime Media bought my company and Tim Clark's. We had created a company and we sold it to Prime Media. Okay. Prime Media was the publisher of Dirt Rider, and it was kind of like. And then they started to have trouble because we all know how the printed press is doing. But I was like, we're going to make that thing go 10 years. I want 10 years of a mini moto. And I fought, and we got 10 years of a mini moto.
Oh, did you?
Yes. Yeah. We had 10 rounds, 10 editions, which was, and after that, I couldn't, we were back to 300. But the difference is, we started 300 with Schaefer, Tim, couple friends, and we made it happen, and we managed to pay everybody and make a penny. Yeah. But by the 10 years, we were part of a big corporation with a lot of people, and they were like, "Oh, every race cost $100,000 to start with," and I'm like, "Oh, that's a lot of money."
Yeah. Well, the bikes got so out of hand. The 50 that I was racing, 50 or 10-inch bike, because it was wheel size was how you did it. It was a 124cc dual overhead cam motor from Japan.
Yeah.
Almost unrideable.
When you guys, when the pro class was coming in, we're like, what's going on here? It's like, it's a real supercross. Even the bikes sounded factory.
I know.
Nobody was running pump gas.
No. It was just such a fun, talk about some of the chirping back and forth before you go to the gate was so fun.
I know. It was, and I've been really kind of thinking that's a race. That's a type of race I would like to restart, and especially with all the Suron craze we had, I thought that could be a good combo, to make it happen that way. But I haven't found the right location, the right concept. The concept is pretty much in my mind, but it has to be, once again, it's real estate.
Time and place.
Yeah, you have to be at the right place, because doing it's just I don't like things to do it. I just like things to succeed. Yeah.
Well, I hope you bring that back. That was just too much fun. Yeah. And I actually, I think I made $4 or $5 grand for winning.
Yeah.
It was like good money. This is crazy.
Yes, absolutely. No, we were paying good. I think the purse was 20 grand. It's like for a pit bike race, and it's been it's good to give money to happy people.
Yeah. It was just so fun. Did you ever do anything in Supermoto in that realm?
Yes, actually, I did one Supermoto, and it was a bad. It's not a fun story. It was a successful race when Supermoto was at its peak. I live in New Smyrna Beach, which is just above Daytona, and we have a speedway, and I organized a Supermoto there, and sadly it's where Doug Henry broke his back. So that was kind of I cannot. It was just the way it happened, and that kind of like spooked me. Because it's just a tough one. It's nothing that there was just a guy that lost oil on a speedway, and that's it. It's like nobody's fault. Yet I felt a sense of responsibility, and I didn't want to touch it after that.
That's always the case with promoters. And I usually guys that come in, I say, hey, I'm sure you've had guys killed or badly injured, and how do you deal with that? Because even though it's not your fault, it's your event,
yes,
and
you just say
that.
You would have done nothing that weekend, people will be better, and it's like, but that's not, it's just, I forgot the year. I think 2006 or 7.
It would have been later than that. 6, 7. It was probably.
No, it was. Oh yeah, maybe
8.
8 or 9. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, 8. Yeah, you're right, because the people that I had working with me on that were people that I hired later on. So yeah.
Yeah, because 06 was the first year I started racing, and he was still there in 07.
Yeah.
So it would have been either end of that year
Yeah.
or whatever. So
Yeah.
what a bummer.
Yeah.
I was at I was racing when Carrie Hart's little brother got killed.
Yes.
And it's the same thing where he's just I couldn't even hardly ride the rest of the day.
We have a heart. It's difficult
Yeah.
it's difficult to be a machine in those moments. And it's like. I've been in a situation where the show must go on, but it's just never. It's like there's something. If you have 10,000 spectators and something bad happen, you have to that year in France where we had the terrorist attack and just the night of the Supercross, and we were in Lille and. No effect on us, but then 50 people got killed. While we were trying to have
I didn't
fun.
know that was the night of the race.
I had to really lock myself with the Stewart family and convince them that they needed to display themselves. We couldn't just hide. It was more of a message and stuff. And they listened. I said, you need to be here with us. Because half of the riders were like, I don't want to get out. I'm like, guys, we need you. We can't cancel the show because something terrible happened. It was a tough one. It was a tough one, and I'm sure they remember it very well. It's just, but they made the right decision. We needed to give the fans were here, so we needed to give them a race.
Yeah. You can't just. Yeah. Hey guys, we're all feeling real bad. We're not gonna. We're all going home.
Exactly.
That's not an option. Yeah, there's. I'm telling you, there's some things about race promotion that I don't think people consider, and.
It's even promotion, because I'm sure it's the same story with a concert or stuff like that. It's make big or lose big.
Yeah. Do you see any blind spots in racing as it is now with SMX? Is there anything they could do better from your perspective as a guy who's put events on? I mean, I think what they've done with the playoffs is really cool. They're listening. The triangular shaped tough blocks are a huge step forward. Yep. So I like that they're listening and they're trying.
I think.
I'm just curious what you see, because you've got a good eye for that.
For me, the only thing missing, and I know it's gonna get me in hot water for saying it, but really we should have 3 races and a weekend off. All season. It's just insanely demanding. I mean, I'm sure some riders sometime when they twist an ankle and they take 2 weekends off, I'm sure they're happy about it.
Mitch is calling. Let me answer. Let's see what he says. I've never done this live. Exactly. Hey, Mitch. You're on the Whiskey Throttle Show live right now with Eric Peronnard and I.
So far, we haven't said anything bad about you, Mitch.
Well, a couple things.
Yeah, a couple things. I mean.
Merci beaucoup.
Hey, buddy, can I call you back in a bit?
Yeah. I was just. Did you get your knee done, or you're getting it done?
The 27th. Yeah, it's coming up.
Oh, I was thinking you got it done. I was just tell you, it's just like when you broke your finger. You're fucking fine.
Yeah. Mitch Payton, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you calling. I'll give you a ring back.
See you soon.
All right, bye.
Yeah.
He's the best dude.
Oh, I know.
He's just the best.
I know. It's just
okay.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah.
I got distracted. Blindside. What would you do?
Yeah. Just.
the 3 weeks.
I would say 3 weeks, and throughout the season, I would get the riders and team to commit to. It is a weekend off. It's not a weekend to go and do a fairground race, because that's what they're worried about. They're worried about that if they give opening, then the riders are gonna do something else, which was, I mean, I spent enough years within the higher management to know that was the feel. Oh, we give a weekend off, then suddenly you're gonna have a summer cross popping out. So that needs to be arranged with the riders and teams, and everybody's a zombie at the end of the Supercross season.
It's too long.
It's too long.
Yeah.
So having a mandatory weekend off every 3 weeks, or whatever they decide, to me would be absolutely the way to do it. And sit on a couple races if you have to. It's just. When you see there's only one rider in the entire world that did the entire race, Jay Coop, it's just crazy.
That should be a red flag.
Yeah, that's. And I honestly feel like riders when they get to 6th, 7th place right now, and like, oh God, if I had a little, if I twist my ankle, I'll take a couple of weekends off, and it's like I see them almost not being sad about it because they're so burned out, But then at the end of the season, they're ready to go and do a WSX and go, 20 hours in an airplane between each race.
Yeah. Well, they're looking at it from a financial standpoint.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if I tweak my ankle this weekend at the Nationals, since I'm not in contention for this title, I could take maybe a month off. Come back, do the last couple, go into the playoffs fresh, go to these whatever, if it's Paris and it's Oz.
Yeah, exactly.
Put a bunch of money in my pocket, sharpen up for the series to start again. Like, you can see the writing on the wall. If they don't figure out how to contract it a little bit or give the guys a break, they're just going to take a break.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, a little bit. I mean, the season is too long in general, and I know when you say that and say, "Oh, yeah, but look, they're going to South Africa to race." I'm like, yes, I know, but it's I mean, they are paid a really big amount of money for the top guys, and the other guys are just making a living doing that because the good guys, the mid-pack guys, they just that's all they get.
Yeah.
And
they've got to grind.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
is there anything, Eric, for on your radar on the electric side of things?
I was like, God, we're gonna miss this one. No, I've been a big fan of electric. I created the first electric class.
Yeah, that's right.
At
the
Moto
Moto,
in 2008. So I feel like definitely there was a vision there, and I was an advisor to Alta. Then I worked with Stark, and I worked with Zero at a time when I love it. It's just, for me, it's the most fun a regular rider can have. There's no question that in the old days, the 450, it's very. But nowadays, I've got, I think, 15 bikes in my garage. If I let myself go, I always jump on an electric bike.
Is that right?
Most likely a Stark, because that's the best electric bike there is today. And it's just it's been hard to see all the division about it. A lot of people were not too happy, and fortunately, I had the privilege to work with people like Jeremy Malott. That when I called him, I say, "Hey, I think I can get Josh Hill to race straight rhythm on an Alta." He was like, heck yeah, let's do it. Like, it was, and that was definitely on the electric side. Having Josh riding so well, the straight rhythm was something that I will never forget. It was a very, very, touching, and I mean, it's a good thing. We need electric bike. I know you are more on a plus on a.
Well, listen, you get to a certain age and you don't really want things to change. Right? We've talked a lot about all these things changing, and I had Keith McCarty on the show tell me, I don't know why this hit me, but he just goes, look, things are going to change whether you want them to or not.
Yeah.
So you can either embrace that change and be a part of it, or you can fight it and be grumpy about it. Yeah. But it's not going to stop the change.
Exactly.
And so,
surprisingly, Keith said that. That's good.
I know. Well, maybe I didn't expect it from him, it kind of stuck with me. But I've ridden the Stark.
Yeah,
and
I know. I've seen
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's a lot. They've got to clear the hurdle of battery life and recharge time.
Yeah, and wait a little bit. You don't feel it much. Yeah, you don't feel it much.
Once if they can figure that out, I think that's the fulcrum then, where we're going to switch to that.
Because right now we're riding a 450 with a 1 gallon tank, and 1 gallon tank, I can find, fortunately, I love hard enduro, and I can get myself cooked with half a gallon. I'll just go to the trail that's going to make me happy to have that wrench. But if you a desert rider, you don't want one. It's not going to work for you. If you're a desert racer, it's even worse. So you have to adapt. Fortunately, the electric came at a time where I'm not doing 5 motos during the day. I'm even with the Alta years ago, I was charging it, going to PAX Track in Florida, riding my 2 moto, going home. I was happy. Sometimes you feel like, I wish I could have rode another one, but most of the time I was happy. So it's really, they have to focus on that, and instead of trying to prove that they're better than a gas bike. That could happen, but it's not here yet.
Do you feel like that's something that can integrate? I almost feel like they need to find their own thing. And if the time comes where the battery technology gets there, then it's just going to be a natural transition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for now, I know they are in World Supercross. They're letting them race.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like they should do their own thing.
No, exactly. And it's where, I worked 2 years with Anton, great guys, super smart. But I was like, he wanted me to get them in Supercross. I'm like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen in 3 years from now. Maybe we can talk about it. And but I pretty much felt like it was a 5 years no.
Yeah.
And that was not, we didn't agree on that level.
He didn't like to hear
they
that.
didn't like that. And but the reality is we're already 3 years of no.
Yeah. No, I think it's at least 5 years. I think you were absolutely right.
And, other brands are coming up. I've been involved in a World Championship electric bike. Honda came up with a CRF-E. Yamaha is going to come up with a new bike. It's being tested as we speak. It's going to happen. But the new generation, our kids are not as strict as we are, because my kids rode, Stasics, they rode, Ossets and the little KTM Junior. They're not going to be like, well, sure, I'll ride an electric bike. It's not going to be an insult to them like us. We were lesser of a man, to ride something. And
the comments are crazy.
Yeah.
We post anything about it, really, and it's some people will get it. I've always just said, look, if are you having fun under a helmet on the dirt?
Exactly.
Well, then great. And like I said, I don't think right now they should be trying to integrate. I think they should be finding their own path. But if you own property, you have a track on your spot, you have a place you could ride if it wasn't for noise, well,
exactly,
there's your solution.
Exactly. And they haven't,
or indoor venues.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for someone to open, like up north where it's cold or rainy, open an indoor venue, because now you don't have to worry about ventilating exhaust.
Yeah.
You could be playing music. There could be a snack bar.
If I was having a big budget, I would start a tour of electric bike going to all tracks. Let's go to Saddleback and just have one race a year with electric bike. It's no noise, and especially in a grain state, it's like people would say, High Point or whatever we've been, that let's start, and maybe with some older riders, that would love to be back on those tracks. I think that would work. But the idea, I'm going to get Vince Freeze and I'm going to put in WSX and show how good the bike is. No, it doesn't work. It's just it's.
Well, I think they limited them to like 48 horsepower in that series.
Yeah, it's just
so they're not going to let them really flex, you know what I mean,
exactly.
what they're capable of.
You have to be, and I was with Josh at AIM Show and we were talking about it, and Josh Hill and arguably myself, we've been the two biggest, we've gone through every brand there is to try to find the right balance of finding the right bike, finding the people that want to do the right thing and stuff. And we appreciate what we've done together, but we know it's still a long way to come.
Yeah.
It's just.
You're fighting the cultural.
Yeah.
Zeitgeist, right? Because people don't like it.
Yeah.
The older crowd. There's some hateful stuff they'll write.
Yeah, exactly. And the message, it's like, hey, that was, Jeremy Malott and Straight Rhythm, 2-stroke, 4-stroke electric. Like, done. It was just like we are welcoming everybody. Our tribe is not getting bigger. You know, I mean, I was telling my wife yesterday, I said, it's funny because we've been driving in SoCal for 1 week, and I haven't seen yet the pickup truck with the 2 motocross bikes. You know, and funny, this morning, leaving, you know, coming from Del Mar, I saw the pickup truck with the 2 new Yamaha. Good job, Yamaha. Yeah. They were going to Fox Raceway, of course, because I guess going on 76, that's pretty much where you're going. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, finally I've seen my new 2, you know, my 2 YZs.
Yeah, you used to see that every which way you look.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and,
you're right.
And the noise is a big issue. As much as the noise is sexy, you know, it's not helping us. You know, it's something that you have to accept that, you know, I've got my private track in Florida, and the choosing the land was all related about the noise. Because I knew, and I bought it 22 years ago, and it's still, I never had any problem. But what did I do? I bought a piece of land that was next to a runway, an airport. That's if you let the other guy fight for the noise.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. Yeah. What does the future look like for you? What do you think? Where do you see yourself doing next?
Oh, a soft landing. You know, obviously plenty of riding, because I know days you can't ride at 80. So since COVID, I've been putting 100 days of riding a year.
Really?
You know, I try to ride at least twice a week. You know, and I've got a house in Utah, in Moab, where I go a month and I ride 30 days. You know, I mean, I don't ride, you know, 5 hours. I ride a couple hours, especially if I ride on my Stark.
Yeah, you definitely don't ride that long.
So that's, you know, and you know,
are you mostly off-road kind of trail stuff, or are you a little moto too still?
Florida is moto. I've got a motocross track in Florida, and so you know, I like to jump. I like to, I mean, you know, reasonable stuff, not supercross stuff. And but when I get to Utah, it's all hard enduro. I mean, you know, rocks, and I don't know if you've been riding Moab. It's second and third gear riding if you jump on a gas bike. Yeah, I like that. I like to be tired at the end of the day. You know? Yeah, that's why I never been too much into the dual purpose, you know, because it's just you can't do as much as the bike is not ready for you know, hitting a 5-foot ledge or something like that.
No, you can make them that way, but they don't come that way. That's for sure. Yeah. What about your family? What do you guys? What do you got plans there?
Yeah, I think I've got 2 great boys. You know, I mean, they're 23 and 27. You know, they moto guys. They love moto, but the younger one is more a surfer. Okay. You know, and
are they in Florida?
In Florida, yes,
yeah,
yes.
Okay.
They're not with us, but they around us. And you know, they just they got the bug. You know, I mean, it's like we watch Supercross. It's family night. We watch Supercross together, and no, it's fun. You know, I'll be celebrating 40 years of marriage with my wife this year. So
congrats, man.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That's a rare thing these days.
Yeah, it happens.
It still does happen. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we're having fun, and she's like we were saying earlier. She knows how much riding. You know, like I say, I need love, riding, and good food. So I'm like, it's very simple. No, just I will get involved deeply in something that can make a difference, but I'm not interested to just have a role in the industry. Now it's like, hey, let's make something happen that makes a difference. You know, that helps what we love be better. Yeah. You know, but otherwise, you know, it's fine.
You're kind of in a place now where you can just do what you enjoy doing and pick and choose projects.
Yeah, it's almost 50 years ago that I begged to be a lot boy in a motorcycle shop just to be around motorcycles. So it's been okay, you know.
Yeah. Do you still have a place in France?
No. My mom has a place, but I never.
So you're not over there much anymore?
Oh, no, I've never. I mean, it's funny because people think, still some people think, I'm like, no, I've been an American citizen for 20 years, and I was born an American in my mind. When I was a kid, I said, I'm going to be American. It's like...
I just didn't know if you went back and visited or have a lot of friends or family.
Well, yeah, I've got a lot of friends and family, but I see them through our world, you know. I mean, they racers, they come to... I had a lot of friends in Anaheim that came to the first race. You know, we have to limit our circle to the people that are, in our world, because sometimes you just don't have the time to see the friend that is, into horses. I don't, I've got a couple of friends into horses. Don't take me wrong, but it's just like we go in the, in the easiest flow, and path, I'm sure it's the same for you. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. You only have so much time, and especially I think the older you get, my sphere of people that I'll hang out with, it just keeps going like this.
Yeah, exactly.
I've basically been out of just my wife and kids lately, so that's all I've got time for.
Exactly. That's the priority. And after that, I love to be in Daytona because I get a lot of the people we love coming to visit. During Daytona Supercross, we had Justin Brayton spend the evening with us before he won his race. So it was Justin, Jeff Emig, and us, and we were like all talking about it. And Marvin was us. It was a really good table that night, and Justin was on the go because he had won one of the Triple Crown Moto the week before, and I remember, with Jeff, with Fro, watching Marvin and Brayton talking about that. Oh yeah, but it's not really a real race, like winning one of the Triple Crown. And the next day he fixed that.
I was happy. I think everybody was happy he got that win.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I have a quick reminder to you guys. If you guys need this is our Rockform wrap up, but I want to just say, hey, these guys are awesome. If you guys need a phone case, phone cover, they've got little speakers, they've got mounts for your car, your bike, your everything. These Rockform products are amazing, so check them out and use our code WT26 for anything, any products you want to buy that are our partners. Use that code WT26. And our Rockform wrap-up question, we ask this to everybody, is how you want to be remembered in this sport.
Just live the dream. It's like my life has been a dream. I didn't win any championship. I didn't become the biggest business guy, but overall, it's like the balance of what, my wife and family, we've been able to accomplish together, thanks to, the passion we had for a sport has been absolutely unbelievable. I couldn't have dreamed of a tenth of what I did when I was a kid. Just be a good person. Be passionate, keep on riding, because if you don't ride, you're just talking about something else. Keep on riding. That's what I tell people, and it's what I tell all my friends. I say, hey, come and spend a couple of days with me in Moab. We'll go ride, or Florida or wherever. But and you're next.
Listen, I'm going to get to Moab. I really want to come ride with you up there. I just got to tell you, man. Like I think this goes for anyone that knows you. It's like you have been never anything but professional and friendly. Anytime I've ever seen you, we could go years without seeing each other. And I don't know, you're just the nicest guy, man. And when I look at what you've done, I think your 14 or 15-year-old self, if you knew what you were gonna do, you'd be pretty stoked, man. Like you've done some amazing things.
Yeah, it's funny because a guy came to me at the Bercy Supercross and he says, it's my age, our age. I mean, my age. And he says, I went to your store when you were selling Yamahas,
in Vegas?
In France when I was a kid. I was the apprentice salesman, and you told me that you're gonna move to US and you're gonna have a life in US, and I left the shop laughing about, you keep on dreaming. And he came to me 50 years later telling me, it's what you did.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Well, congratulations. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in. I appreciate it. It's just been an honor knowing you. And
thank you so much.
Attending your events.
Feeling is mutual, and see you at San Diego Supercross this weekend.
Absolutely.
You're going to be there, right?
And I know you got more under the hood. I'm waiting. It's going to be an electric event, or it's going to be the pit bike thing.
There's things coming.
Something's cooking.
Yeah, you have to be, I believe in stars lining up. And if one star is off, we have to do everything to bring it back in line or move to the next project. But it has to be right.
Well, when you do it, we'll be there.
Okay.
And if there's anything we can do to help on our side here from the media side, you let us know.
Thank you, and kudos to our friends in Florida, Nihilo, and those guys. They've been my lifeline to support all my bike issues. WMR and those guys.
Dude,
they're good people.
They are great people, and their products, especially if you're on an Austrian bike, they make so many cool things.
Exactly.
But the secondary on switches, they've even got like a tuner product now that you can tune your bike. They can tune it for you.
You've been to their store?
No.
Oh,
no. I'm going to come for.
Yeah, you have to, because it's it's my favorite dirt bike place in the world.
Is that right?
Oh, it's just amazing, because the vibe, it's just like it's only what they have. I mean, they have a couple street bikes because of the Austrian bikes, but the passion is
they're
there.
off-road.
They're off-road guys, and they've been a really, really good support system to me. Yeah.
Well, that's really good to hear. I mean, I just have basically a phone relationship with them and stuff, business.
And they were the first one to tell me, why don't you go to Ping? I'm like, just whenever it works.
Yeah. No, I'm glad we got you on, and like I said, they're a great company. So next time I come down to visit,
absolutely,
let's go down there and you show me around.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks so much, Eric.
Thank you so much.
Stick around. We'll be right back to wrap up the show, guys. Yamaha is the industry leader in two-wheeled fun and performance. Celebrating 50 years of YZ in 2024, the Blue Crew is still dominating shootouts and competitions. Yamaha, revs your heart. Troy Lee Designs is the leader in off-road motocross apparel and style. So whether you're looking for a cool new paint job for your helmet, maybe your name and number on your helmet lettered on, you're looking for new gear, you're looking for mountain bike gear, off-road gear. They've got the brand new Scout line and GP and SE models. Troy Lee Designs has it all. They've been leading this industry for decades, and they're going to continue to do it. Check out TroyLeeDesigns.com. The Whiskey Throttle Show is proud to be partnered with Factory Effects. These guys have been around the motocross industry for over 30 years, making really cool graphics, really high-quality materials with really excellent fitment on all the brands. So whether you guys have a motorcycle you want to dial in, or you need a new stand or some tie downs or whatever it is, Factory Effects has got you covered. And they've also got a bunch of officially licensed merchandise. So if you're a Yamaha guy, you can go over there and get some really cool Yamaha stuff. In fact, a lot of what you'll see me wearing here on the Whiskey Throttle Show is Factory Effects merchandise that's branded with Yamaha's logos. So check those guys out. Like I said, just a really cool company, and they've been around forever. These guys have been bleeding and sweating this sport for longer than a lot of people have been alive. So we're stoked to have them be a part of what we're doing, and they're giving us a really great deal for all of you guys, 25% off any order. All you've got to do is use our discount code, which is WT26. So go to factoryeffects.com, spelled factory, EFFEX.com, and use that code WT26 to get 25% off. We're all about supporting brands that support our sport. And there's one tire company that has never walked away from the sport of motocross and supercross, and it's Dunlop. When times got tough and the economy took a crash, Dunlop stepped up and stayed with our sport to support it and the athletes and individuals that love it. Their MX-53 line and MX-33 lines absolutely dominate this sport. Every national championship at the pro level has been won in the last decade, and nearly every single amateur national championship at Loretta Lynn's has been won on a Dunlop. So if you're looking for high performance, you're looking for amazing quality, and you're looking to support a brand that never turns its back on our sport, there's only one choice for you, and it's Dunlop. All right, Whiskey Throttle fam, we've got a sponsor here that I want to really encourage you guys to try, Element. If you haven't seen this stuff before, give them a check out on our Instagram bio. You can get in there. We've got a link that will give you free samples. You can go in and try this stuff. And this delivers just the right amount of electrolytes that you need when you're competing at all, especially if it's midsummer, humid. Think Loretta Lynn's, Nationals. You're sweating like crazy. This is the best way to replenish it, okay? Straight water is just going to flush more electrolytes out of your body, cause more cramping. You've got to get the electrolytes back in. This Element provides it in the perfect package with zero sugar. It is vegan, keto, paleo-friendly, gluten-free. This is the perfect product for athletes or those pretending to be athletes. So it was designed by Rob Wolf. This guy is a crazy smart dude working in the science field. Was developing for his own use in athletics, and he came up with the perfect formula. This stuff's awesome. This right here, the citrus salt, is my favorite. Of course, you can get it in a sample pack like this where you can try some different flavors, watermelon, orange, raspberry. Great stuff. Cannot recommend this enough. If you are racing, even at a local level, and sweating at all, which, come on, we all do on a dirt bike, you've got to have some of this stuff to replenish it right. Give it a try. Like I said, go to our bio on Instagram. You can find a discount code or a link that takes you directly to there, and we'll give you a free sample. Check it out. You're not going to want to miss that. Support these guys. They are fans of the sport, and we are so stoked to be partnered with them. Element is an incredible product that I use exclusively, and I'm so proud to have them part of the Whiskey Throttle Show. Pro Circuit is the leader in aftermarket performance and quality. Whether you're looking for a little more horsepower out of your engine, some quality hard parts to improve the way your bike feels and looks, better handling through suspension or linkage arms, Pro Circuit is where you need to stop. It's your one-stop shop. You can go in there and get everything you need to make your motorcycle go from average to exceptional. Pro Circuit's got enough number one plates on their wall to side an entire home, and there's a reason for that. They're very, very good at what they do. The highest quality products with one goal in mind, and that's winning. Check out ProCircuit.com. If you are in the market for a new vehicle, look no further than Toyota of Redlands. You've got to support a brand that is supporting motocross big time. At the amateur level, pro level, they are part owners in the Bar X Yamaha racing team. They support a ton of riders individually, and they support us here at Whiskey Throttle Media. And I'll tell you what, the facility up there in Redlands is absolutely incredible. It's beautiful. The folks are friendly. They're professional. And if you've never owned a Toyota, you got to give it a try. It is the only brand that I'll drive anymore. If you're buying, there's nothing more reliable, nothing that holds its resale value better. And the folks at Toyota of Redlands are just they still remember what customer service is. I guess that's all I really need to say. Incredibly friendly, professional, and just talented staff up there. We're stoked to have them a part of the show. If you see the Whiskey Throttle truck around here, the Toyota of Redlands Tundra, give us a wave and a honk. But man, just so stoked to have these guys on board. Like I said, anybody like that that's getting involved and supporting the sport, we just want to push as many people as we can to them because those folks are rare, and especially when they have an incredible product and provide an incredible service. So get up to Toyota of Redlands, California. If you're anywhere in southern United States, southwest United States, it's worth the drive. Get over there, check those guys out. Tell them the Whiskey Throttle Crew sent you. On-switch device, something that was much needed in this sport. They've been innovating and bringing new products to market. Their latest is the new Nihilo Run Cool brake pistons. They're designed to be stronger than stock and provide exceptional cooling performance with less brake drag. Most OEM calipers pistons are made from aluminum that just can't hold up to the heat and extreme demands of serious racing. When they get hot, the aluminum will distort, causing loss of hydraulic pressure and brake failure. Nihilo's Run Cool pistons limit the area that boiling hot hydraulic fluid is able to come in contact with the piston, leaving 2/3 of the piston volume in open air with breather holes to enhance the cooling ability. It's made of a proprietary stainless blend, which is better at dissipating heat. You have issues with brake fade or brake failure, check out Nihilo Concepts among their many amazing hard parts and carbon fiber parts and titanium. NihiloConcepts.com. Seat Concepts is the leader in motorcycle saddles. If you're looking for a new cover or a new seat entirely, Seat Concepts is the place to go. They make custom seat foams catered to your height, weight, riding ability, riding type. They also have waterproof covers and foams that will not break down if you ride in a lot of inclement weather. And they pride themselves on being much more comfortable than OEM or any other aftermarket company. If you're looking for a new seat or a new cover, Seat Concepts, there's nothing better. Guys, I want to introduce you to Rockform, and a sponsor of the Whiskey Throttle Show here that has just been blowing my mind with their products. They've got all kinds of, started as phone cases. This is their rugged phone case here that I've got, which is just bulletproof. You could throw this thing out of an airplane, probably pick it up and be just fine. And on the back here, everything is magnetic, so it'll just stick to anything metallic, obviously. But this little locking device you've got in the back, this bolts onto handlebar mounts, car mounts, adhesive mounts, magnetic mounts, and it does not come off. It is locked in. I have no fear that my phone is going to pop off a handlebar on a street bike ride. And then I like the little sport ring they've got. They've got all kinds of devices that pop in here, but this thing acts as a stand. If you want to sit this thing up and watch something on your phone or work on it, Just absolutely incredible. And this is magnetic as well. All kinds of amazing products, guys, for your phone. Kind of that's their primary function. They also have the G-Rock speaker. This is basically made for golf, and you just stick it to the frame of your golf cart and get after it. Got great tunes all day long. So a ton of products, but check out our boys at Rockform. These guys are killing it. I'm so stoked to be partnered with this brand. You know, we really pride ourselves on partnering with elite brands, really, really high-level companies, and Rockform is right on cue. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look at elite brands, really, really high-level companies, and Rockform is right on cue. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than ProX. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, air filters. If it wears out, ProX makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. And they've got some new things coming that are awesome. A complete engine rebuild kits for the Polaris RZR 800s. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than ProX. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally. If it wears out, ProX makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. All right, so you had a tip over in the garage or at the track and you broke your lever off. What are you going to do? Go to Arc Levers, guys. They're the only people you need to check out in this space. Arc Levers, everything manufactured right here in the United States to craftsman precision. The stuff is awesome. Whether you're looking for an entire clutch perch with maybe a bigger wheel, they make the wheel super easy to find and adjust. Or maybe you just want replacement levers. They do that as well. Anything you're after, they can change the throw, the feel, everything you want, custom. They can make them feel different, look different colors. These guys are dialed, man. They've got all kinds of cool products. If you haven't been over to Arc Levers and seen what they've got, check them out. These guys are being run by factory Honda. If they're good enough for Jet Lawrence, I think you and I can probably make them work. The Star Racing Yamaha team, a lot of factory riders running them for good reason. They're the best products in the business. Check out Arc Levers. The Whiskey Throttle Show is presented by Motorsport.com. It doesn't matter if you like to pull a throttle cable on a dirt bike, street bike, side-by-side. Motorsport.com is putting riders first with parts, gear, and accessories, including some of our partners like Troy Lee Designs, Dunlop, Pro Circuit, and more. They offer first returns free on apparel so you can buy with confidence. And Motorsport.com offers fast, free shipping on all orders over $79. Make your next ride your best ride. Visit Motorsport.com. Every good podcast show has got to have an underwear sponsor, right? Well, we went right to the top, Ethica. These guys make the best underwear. If you haven't tried a pair, you don't know what you're missing. Your life hasn't even started yet. So try a pair of Ethicas on. Go to Ethica.com. Use our code WHISKEY20. Get you 20% off. And give all of your nether regions a break, man. It's vacation time for the boys. These things are comfortable. You're riding. Your butt's not going to get all chafed. These things are awesome. And guess what? They don't just make underwear. No. Tees, hats, beanies, sweatshirts, shorts for kids, ladies, toddlers, old people, everybody. You name it. They make them. You know what else they make? Moto gloves. I didn't even know that. I just found it out. So get over to Ethica.com. Check them out. These guys are awesome. Whiskey20. Use our code. Don't cheat me now. Get 20% off and put your buns in the best undies around. Ethica.com. All right, the sun is shining. That means you guys need to find yourself a good pair of sunglasses and look no further than Rockwell. These guys are making some incredible shades right now. They're all designed here in the USA, made in Italy. Very, very high-end craftsmanship on these things. They've got so many different models for men's and women's styles. There's floatable glasses, so if you're out on a lake, on a boat somewhere this summer, go out, find yourself a pair of the floatable ones. They've also got wireframe. They've got wraparound. Anything you're after, any style, Rockwell makes it. We are also working on a motocross goggle that is going to be insane. We are in the development stages of that. I'm helping them with that, as is Justin Hill and a couple other guys. So stay tuned for that. That's coming. They also make all kinds of casual wear. Rockwell is getting it done in all kinds of markets. But the sunglasses, whoo, these things are next level. Check them out, rockwell.com.
The inspiration for Element, interestingly, was from working with my coaches. I sat down with those guys. I'm like, hey, here's what I'm doing. What should I do? And they looked at everything and they were like, you need more electrolytes, specifically sodium. And like most people do when they have a coach, I ignored what their advice was. I'm kind of like, well, I salt my food, I'm probably good. And it took me at least a year to finally listen to these guys and do what they asked me to do. And it was just a switch flip. It was just so obvious that this was the critical missing piece to the story. And it's ironic that this salt piece was like the linchpin, the keystone to making all the rest of that work.
You guys know how particular I am about who we partner with on this show. And when the Nano Extreme folks came to me wanting to join the program, I definitely had to give it some time to try it. And I've been dealing with a lot of knee pain and obviously just the bumps and bruises that come along with being an old motocross guy. And this stuff legit works. And in fact, so well, I had to kind of dig in and find out why. And in talking with one of their formulators, there is a component called capsaicin. It's actually the component that's found in chili peppers that makes them spicy, makes them so hot. And that actually blocks the nerve signals that send pain signals through them, along with DMSO and arnica and some other things that are just naturally anti-inflammatory. There's a bunch of essential oils and camphor and menthol, which make it kind of feel cool or hot or however your sensation reads it. But at the end of the day, regular use of this works. Like, it legit works. And so I cannot recommend this stuff enough. If you guys have arthritis like I do, or if you've just, working out hard and you've got a lot of muscle soreness, this will help. Maybe you're sitting in a chair all day and you've got pain in between your shoulder blades. Doesn't matter. Joint pain, this stuff will help you, I promise. Use it regularly. Follow the instructions. You don't want to get this stuff around your eyes or in sensitive areas because it will definitely burn a bit, but definitely works. Really stoked on this product and proud to be partnered with Nano Extreme. Check them out. And use our code WT26 to get yourself a discount when ordering.
The Specialized Science Club introduces the Levo 4. An electric mountain bike so advanced, it borders on sorcery. Together, you and the Levo 4 become a harmonious hybrid of organic and synthetic. It's a rider-enhancing machine that transforms you into a cycling cyborg. 720 watts of power and 111 Newton meters of torque, amplifying your mortal muscles, allowing you to bend space and time to your will. All channeled through futuristic suspension, with honed geometry, granting super control while traversing extreme terrain at hyper speed. With supernatural power delivery, you'll have super traction to conquer climbs where others spin out. And you'll tire, if at all, before the bike does. Thanks to the Levo 4's super range.
Thanks for checking out the Whiskey Throttle Show. If you guys liked it, be sure to like and subscribe so you get notified anytime we have a new show go up. You can also go over to WhiskeyThrottleMedia.com and check out all of the content, new bike builds, new bike introductions. We've got all kinds of features in the moto and off-road space, as well as all of the current Whiskey Throttle shows listed there. You can find our YouTube channel to get a complete list by season of all the shows we've done, well over 100 at this point. And also follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, like, subscribe, comment, all that junk. We'll see you guys. But thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you appreciated that and enjoyed it, whether you're watching or listening. And I really want to thank Eric Peronnard for making the time to come in. Like I said, I've known him for an awful long time, and the number of events that he's been a part of, and all of them have been successful at different levels, from the Bercy Supercross to the U.S. Open, to EnduroCross, to the Moto Supercross, to Red Bull Straight Rhythm and X Games. It's like everything this guy touches turns to gold, and that's just, he's good at what he does, and he's a great guy. He's good with people, and he works hard. And so that's a formula for success, obviously. So a big thank you to him. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember our discount code. If you're buying something from any of our partners, we're switching all of our codes to WT26. Some of these companies like TLD and Specialized and a few others, they don't have discount codes because they can't do that to their dealers, but the ones that do, it's going to be WT26. So use it, save yourself some money. And I also want to welcome and just mention a couple of our new partners for this year. One of those is Nano Extreme. I've been using this stuff on my knee now for well over a year, just because I've had obviously pain and issues. And this stuff works. DMSO, arnica, some really proven ingredients that go internal and reduce inflammation. And the way that they've now built this stuff in nanoparticulate, just meaning that it's so small that it can actually penetrate your dermis and get down to the joint or muscle or whatever you're trying to get at and actually affect it from a molecular level inside. It works. I mean, all of that to just say it really does work. So check out Nano Extreme. You can find them on Instagram, but this stuff is killer. If you've got just even sore muscles, aches and pains, or you're just old like me and beat up, that stuff is worth its weight in gold. And then also Factory Effects. Those guys are going to be a huge part of our program here this year, not only sponsoring this show, but all of our project builds, our shootouts. They're going to be our only graphics supplier for all of those things. So look for some really cool project bikes with their work on them. And you're going to see a lot of their merch as well. This is their trademark or their branded stuff where they've got licensing deals with Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, and Kawasaki. So you can go in if you're riding one of those brands and you want some swag. These things are super comfy, really well made. So I appreciate their support. Stoked to have them on board. And as always, thank you for the support and for watching the shows, listening. There's lots more coming. We're just getting cranking here with 2026. So stick around. More to come.